Thank you very much. Once again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on wherever you are joining us from. Once again, my name is Joseph Kolaole Adebola. I'm your host again today. I wish to welcome you to this special weekly Renewed Hope Global Virtual Town Hall Conference. I welcome you all to this special edition that we have tagged Mr. President's Special Edition for a reason. It is a special one because we have somebody. We're going to be having someone from the presidency, no less, coming to engage with us today on issues of the day, which I will be introducing in a minute. The topic for today will be unlocking trade and investment in Nigeria, essential insights for navigating opportunities in Africa, in Africa's fastest growing economy. That will be our topic for today. Again, before we go further, let me introduce my co-hosts for today as usual. They are Honorable Jacob Ubushe, Hajia Rekia Bello Abubakar, Udeme Ukwe, Sheumbayu, also known as Boyo, and Honorable Tosin Olayinka. These guys will be assisting me as usual in moderating today's conference to ensure a smooth and uninterrupted deliberation. As usual, this conference is streaming live across the social media and especially on Ben TV, courtesy of the CEO of the first African Nigerian TV digital channel, Alistair Sheridan. Many thanks for your support and assistance always. Just looking through the whole the conference hall today, I can see new faces as well as our usual participants. Towards the end of the program, I will be acknowledging the presence of our leaders and stakeholders in the house. In the meantime, on behalf of the team behind the Renewed Hope Global Virtual Town Hall Conference, I welcome you all to today's Mr. President's Special Edition. Our usual updates are one, our website address is www.renewedhopeglobalconference.com, and our email address is also, which is also posted in the chat room, is info@renewedhopeglobalconference.com. Once again, info@renewedhopeglobalconference.com. Participants and viewers across the globe are encouraged to use this email address to forward their questions to us prior to each week's conference. Those questions will be forwarded to our special guest of the week, and this will be the first set of questions to be dealt with by our VVIP before we open the floor for questions and answer. Our YouTube channel, we also have our YouTube channel, and the link is posted in the chat room. Please do go and check it out. We also have a WhatsApp group called the Renewed Hope UK. This is meant to give those in the group an opportunity to have first-hand information about our activities, and especially about our special guests and VVIPs. Any participant that is interested in joining the WhatsApp group is at liberty to leave their details in the chat room, and we will forward to you the joining link. There's also a dedicated telephone number for the purpose of sending your questions or suggestions on how to better serve you before each conference, or even during the conference as well. The telephone number, which is the WhatsApp telephone number, is +44 758 695 1574. Again, I repeat, +44 758 695 1574. The joining link to the WhatsApp group is posted in the chat room as well. It is always on social media as well for interested participants to use in joining the group to enable them to have constant updates on our programs and activities. Now, today, as usual, we have in our midst one of the top VVIPs from the administration of President TINUBU. The VVIP is no other person than John Ugochukwu Uwajumogu. I hope I pronounced that right. Uwajumogu is his surname. He's the special advisor to the president on industry, trade, and investment. In the next 2 hours or thereabout, our distinguished VVIP will be taking us through the activities, achievements, and challenges in this administration's quest to open the country for business opportunities. Our topic for today is unlocking trade and investment in Nigeria, essential insights for navigating opportunities in Africa's fastest growing economy. So before I proceed, please let me run through the rules of engagement of this virtual conference as usual. All participants will remain muted until they have the floor to join in the discussion of the day. Any participant who wishes to participate by fielding a question to our guest of honor should please raise their hand by using the hand icon at the bottom of the screen. When you are given the floor to contribute, one of my co-hosts will unmute you, and please do have your video on as we want to see who is speaking to us. And firstly, introduce yourself and where you are joining us from, followed by your question. In order to ensure every participant have equal opportunity to participate in our deliberation, each participant will have a maximum of 1 minute to contribute to our deliberation. And please do go straight to the point so we can save time and give others a chance to also participate. And please be advised that the system is programmed to mute upon reaching the 1 minute maximum time allowed. So do not be offended if this happens whilst you're still speaking. It simply means the time allowed is up, and we will go to the next person in the queue. Today, as we often do sometimes, we have a golden ticket given to a participant to speak for double the time allotted to all participants. The winner of the golden ticket is chosen at random from amongst the participants that sent in their questions prior to today and have requested for such privilege. However, you can chat to the host in the chat room, and my co-hosts will respond to your inquiries. And during the question and answer session, we will be taking 3 and 4 questions in a row from participants. Then we'll yield the floor to our special guest of honor to respond to those questions. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this special edition of the Renewed Hope Global Virtual Town Hall Conference. And as you all know by now, this platform was set up as a veritable vehicle for interaction between Nigerians across the globe and our leaders in Nigeria. These are the people that hold the apron strings of our country and are steering the ship of our fatherland with a view to enlightening our people regarding the inner workings of the administration of the day. And today, as always, we will be exploring another segment of President TINUBU's vision and policies in an interactive interview with one of the big shots within the government who will be dissecting President TINUBU's administration, shedding light on its significant achievements and forward-looking plans as encapsulated in the Renewed Hope agenda, upon which the president campaigned, and we all gave him the mandate as well as the golden keys to Astro Villa on the 25th of February 2023. I've just been duly informed that we're still expecting the VVIP to join. Apparently, he's in a critical meeting with the president at the moment, but he has assured us that he will be joining us whilst the program is going on. But in order to keep the program going, whilst we are waiting for him, let me just quickly run through the profile of our VVIP for today. His name is John Ugochukwu Uwajumogu. He is a distinguished professional with extensive background in international affairs and the energy industry. Holding a master's in international affairs from the prestigious Fletcher School of Tufts University, John has combined his academic achievements with over 2 decades of hands-on experience in advisory roles. His expertise is further solidified by his membership in the American Institute of Chartered Public Accountants, AICPA, highlighting his financial and strategic management proficiency. John's professional journey is marked by his significant contributions as a partner at Ernst & Young, where he served as the energy leader for West Africa. In his capacity, he has garnered a reputation as a thought leader on energy matters, consistently sharing his insights through plenary sessions and various publications. His advisory experience spans multiple continents, with notable work in crucial energy hubs such as Houston, Texas, and Calgary, Alberta in Canada. The international exposure has broadened his horizons and provided John with a unique perspective on the global energy landscape, allowing him to navigate and influence the industry with exceptional foresight and expertise. Beyond his previous role at Ernst & Young, John's career includes several other prominent positions in the consulting and advisory sectors. He has served as a partner in strategy and transactions at the Parthenon Group, directing complex strategic engagements. His leadership capabilities demonstrated during his tenure as Director of Transaction Advisory Services at Grant Thornton LLP and as Director of Deals and Consulting at PwC, where he specialized in mergers, business valuation, and financial analysis, have made him a trusted advisor in the field. These roles have equipped John with robust skills in due diligence, private equity, economic modeling, corporate finance, accounting, and internal audit. In addition to his impressive professional portfolio, John Uwajumogu is currently the Special Advisor on Industry, Trade, and Investment to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And in this role, he applies his vast knowledge and experience to influence national policy, drive economic growth, and build a more robust industrial and trade environment in Nigeria. John's career trajectory highlights his dedication and expertise in several sectors. His academic credentials, practical experience, and strategic vision makes him a formidable leader of industry and trade in Nigeria and the broader West African region. That, in a nutshell, is the profile of our VVIP today. While the VVIP is stuck in the meeting with the president, but will be with us shortly, as he has promised. In the meantime, in order to give to set the context for the conference, we will be playing a video of an event by the Honorable Minister for Trade and Industry, Trade and Investment, which lasts for about 10 or 15 minutes thereabout. That will give us the context as to what we will be discussing today. So whilst we're waiting for the VVIP, let us please watch this video. Over to our chief host, because I'm chief host and have another chief host who's ahead of me. So he will be playing us the video now. So let's just be patient and watch for a couple of minutes. Then we'll come back to begin to deal with the issue of the day. Thank you for being part of this conference. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for staying with us. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is tasked with the responsibility of formulating and implementing policies and programs to attract investment, boost industrialization, and create an enabling environment to stimulate domestic investment and attract foreign direct investment. Well, joining me on the show today is the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment in Nigeria, Dr. Doris Uzoka-Anite, to review activities of the ministry so far. I must thank you so very much for your time, Honorable Minister. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you, Tolu. How are you?
Very well. Yes, very well. It's good to have you, ma. Now, the renewed hope agenda, of course, of President Bola TINUBU focuses on economy and industry, of course, other sectors, but that is very key to pull our economy out of where we are at the moment. I want to ask you, I know a lot has been done. Can you highlight some major points? What has happened in recent times? A lot of trips, foreign investments, commitments, and all of that. Where are we at the moment before we now understand some policies that we can institute to move forward?
Thank you for the question. We've done so much. So I will take it pillar by pillar. In the area of investment, we've attracted over 30 billion in investment commitments. We are also working to increase the capital formation for small businesses and the private sector. In the area of trade, we've actually landed a landmark deal with WTO and in combination with ITC and World Bank. In March this year, the DG of WTO came to Nigeria to launch the program support for Nigeria. I recall that some of the program supports include the Standard Trade Development Facility, digital trade, e-commerce, and different capacity enhancement programs, as well as a major support for the country to develop its first ever trade intelligence unit. We also launched the Enhanced National Trade Facilitation Committee. That committee will be looking at, I'm the co-chairman of that committee with the CG of Customs. What that committee will be doing is to see how to remove both technical and non-technical barriers to trade, to improve our exports and our export earnings. We've signed so many bilateral agreements. We've heard about the ETIP agreement we signed with the UK. We ratified the agreement with the UAE, and we're currently engaging in so many other bilateral and multilateral and plurilateral agreements, including the African Continental Free Trade negotiations. And we are currently also trying to digitize the export permit process for the oil and gas sector and the entire export permits and licensing for all other exports. In the area of industrialization, we are currently working to stimulate industries sector by sector, starting with the cotton, textile, and garment sector. We're looking at how to increase the production of cotton by farmers, how the industries, the ginneries, the textile and garment factories can become reactivated. And so in this regard, we're partnering with a world-class organization and Afrexim, looking at injecting at least $3.5 billion into the cotton, textile, and garment value chain. We've had multiple stakeholder engagements. We're also having engagements with state governors and about to sign the MOU for that to start. We're also catalyzing the automotive sector. We've had multiple engagements and currently finalizing the MOU agreements between the component part manufacturers, raw material producers, and the vehicle manufacturers. Our target is to produce the first made in Nigeria vehicle by December this year. Even if it is one keke napep that we produce in Nigeria or one motorcycle, Nigeria has to be known as a manufacturer of automobiles. We have the market, we have the technology, we have the skill, and we have the willingness of the sector, the participants, and the consumption base. So there is no reason why we can't produce our own vehicles, and we're about to do that. We're also trying to facilitate and catalyze so many other free zones and especially economic zones, and coming up with our industrialization strategies that will support the industrial policy of the country to stimulate and revitalize industrialization. When we do all of the things I have mentioned, we will achieve President Bola Ahmed TINUBU's agenda of increasing non-oil exports and stimulating export substitution or import substitution by and increasing the FX reserve of the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma. I think it's a good way to start this conversation. You would agree with me that the FX fluctuation is a big issue, and trade facilitation is something that would, of course, be on the front burner for you at your office. We've seen business people complain about how this is affecting custom levies and all of that. What more moves are you making, or what sort of conversations are you having to make sure that trade is more easier, ease of doing business? What more are you doing around that?
Okay, so many things actually. One, I talked about digital trade platform that we are working on, and this digital trade support we are getting from WTO and the World Bank. That includes increasing the digital infrastructure, especially around commerce, and building the e-commerce platform that will enable SMEs to trade. Then the logistics and the entire value chain for trading is what we're now trying to de-risk. The fastest and best way that we identified is to create the one-stop export promoting centers, or what you call the export processing centers. Now, we have also gone into very advanced stages of negotiations with Afrexim Bank to develop some of these centers. Those centers will test, process, package, and carry out all the necessary documentations. We have all the multi-agents who are responsible or who inspect and certify all exports for export. We have the customs, NAFDAC, SORN, and NDLA, Federal Produce Inspection Agency, all of them quarantine services within one facility that will ensure that all the produce meets the standards for the exports. You know, one of the problems we have is major export rejection. At least 75% of our harvest is rejected. So we have, first of all, we have 75% post-harvest losses, and then the ones that make it eventually for export, we have a huge export rejection. Now, with this export processing center, we will have a drop in export rejection and an increase in our export volume. Now, that's one. Then now look at the entire logistics itself of moving your goods from the export processing center to the port. That's where the Enhanced National Trade Facilitation Committee is then going to play a role to identify all the factors that are responsible for all the trade and non-trade barriers that are making the cost of export very high and sometimes delaying the export process itself. So this committee is charged, ready to look at why we have multiple roadblocks. Why don't we have enough trailers and vehicles to move goods? Why is the rail system not functioning properly? Are the roads connected properly to our markets, to our farm gates, to our warehouses, to the export processing centers? And do we have, the agility of the federal government, the state government, the local government to support the entire export process itself, including the documentations and everything that is necessary and needed to ensure that exports happen and move seamlessly and efficiently? So with all of this I have mentioned, we can now promise Nigerians that very soon we will see our export time reduce. The customs have also launched a number of programs to support the export facilitation drive that the ministry is handling. And I am very sure that very soon we will have seamless and more efficient export process for the exporters.
Okay, let me also ask you this. I remember I attended the International Intra-Africa Trade Fair, I beg your pardon, in South Africa at the time, and the last one was in Egypt. And the discussion is for Africa to come together. You've touched on AFTA. Well, my question really would be, Honorable Minister, do you think that Nigeria is ready to take advantage of this market? You remember what happened with AGOA. Many are saying that this might just happen the same way. Are we competitive enough? Our standards?
Well, I can assure you that under this administration, it cannot be like AGOA. AFTA is here to stay. All countries in Africa, even around the world, are gearing up to take advantage of AFTA. And the question is, are we ready? Are we competitive enough? The answer is no, we're not. We're not competitive enough, but we are ready. We are ready mentally, but the competitive environment is not yet in place, and that is what we're working on. This is where we're talking about all the support that we're getting to facilitate trade and all that we're doing to increase investment in industrialization, to make our industries to produce at a cost competitive, to produce cost competitively, to export cost competitively, to be the lowest cost producer in Africa. We can do it. The president has liberalized electricity generation, removing it from the exclusive to the concurrent list now, so states can produce. One of the policies around having clusters and industrial hubs is for us to be able to supply and provide infrastructure to industrial hubs, including, of course, the electricity, road network, sewage, water, shared services. All of that will drop the cost of production. And I also talked about all we're doing to ensure that we can facilitate export in the export processing centers to reduce the cost of export, the time, the delay, to make us much more competitive. And then finally, access to finance. We've tried to create multiple vehicles, multiple platforms to increase capital formation for the private sector. We have debt capital coming from BOI, and now we've started creating models that will attract more private capital, private equity, with the diaspora fund that we're trying to launch. That will increase access to funding for the private sector directly by all investors. So with the three things and all these multiple things that we're working on, we will see our industries produce more competitively, have greater access to their raw materials, and have the low-cost environment to be able to compete in after.
That sounds really good. Almost finally, Honorable Minister, the Skill Up Artisan Program, I read about it. I think I'm interested in that, designed to boost productivity and earnings of artisans. Can you tell us more about this and how far you've gone with that?
Yes, so as part of our industrial policy to increase competitiveness, apart from the machineries and the industrial strategy, having the right workforce is also very necessary to catalyze industrialization. Recently, we've had so many engagements with the industries. They complained of a skills deficit in their different industries. And so we made them a promise that we will develop and train the right workforce to take advantage of the vacancies that we have in these various industries. Now, apart from that, we also noticed that our artisans that make up the bulk base of our employable population are also not properly trained and can't even take advantage of informal job opportunities that are present. What are these informal job opportunities, or what are these artisan opportunities? Our plumbers are not certified and trained properly, so we can't even compete internationally. We end up hiring artisans from different countries because we want to have a certain quality to the finished jobs that we do. Our carpenters, electricians, name them, construction workers, masons, even our tailors, different artisans in that group haven't had the opportunity to have formal training to give them the opportunity to produce with international best practice. So when we identify that this is a huge labor market and the president has promised 50 million jobs, this 50 million job is going to come to all Nigerians. So we started mobilizing both skilled and unskilled labor workforce, training them, and then giving them certification. I can't remember the last time the trade test certificate was given to an artisan. I remember my grandfather used to have a trade test certificate that was given to him by City and Guilds. City and Guilds stopped certifying for whatever reason, and now we brought back City and Guilds to come and certify our artisans. Now our plumbers will have a City and Guild certificate. Our carpenter will have a City and Guild certificate. Our tailors will have a City and Guild certificate. It increases the confidence of your employers and also makes them more competitive to work anywhere in the world. On the back of SUPA, you also hear about our National Talent Export Program, where we are now identifying that other countries also have vacancies in the same skills that Nigeria has vacancies in. But we have a lot of people that we are training. And the countries have approached us and say if we have excess capacity and excess manpower, that they're also interested in taking some of these resources and manpower to fill vacancies in their countries. And so that's how NATEP was bettered. That's the National Talent Export Program. Just yesterday, we signed an agreement with a major Kuwaiti national company that is looking at filling the vacancies in construction in the Middle East, in the whole of the GCC country. And that's also a major opportunity for job creation for our citizens. And this, we promise, we will only take people who have the requisite skills, who have gone through all the documentation process that NATEP will provide to them, and then they can go over there as legal citizens with the full rights and the privilege that they deserve for the kind of skills that they have. So they go there as honorable Nigerians, not to go with their visiting visa, get to another country and start trying to dodge law enforcement agency and become an illegal migrant. Nigeria is bigger than that. We have the best talent in the world, which has been attested to. So the best thing we can do is to provide a platform for those who want to work locally or internationally to have the opportunity and the platform to do so. And that's one of the mandates and one of the offerings that the president is giving to the people. It's never been done before. The other thing on the back of NATEP we're doing is for those who don't even have the opportunity to go because there are no vacancies that can attract physical talent, or that there are vacancies for outsourcing, we're also providing opportunities for people to work here and also earn in dollars. The same dollar you would earn if you were working there physically, you're also earning it here. And we signed an agreement with an MOU with a major corporation that is going to outsource 50,000 jobs in the first instance to Nigerians in the area of IT, telemarketing, telesales, and all of that. All of this we're doing to ensure that we create the job mandate that the president has given to us to create, and Nigerians are talented. The only problem is that previously they didn't have the platform, they didn't have the opportunity to access jobs, both locally and internationally. And then finally, we decided also, having identified that there are lots of vacancies in different industries and different corporations and companies, and since we regulate industries and we talk to them, for all these talents that we are creating, that we're developing, that it was important for us to have the National Job Center. Well, when I say National Job Center, I'm not talking about Ministry of Labor. I'm actually saying the renewed job center where the manufacturers are telling us that they have this vacancy and they want this talent. And because we can see, we make opportunity, that vacancy available to Nigerians globally to apply. So you can liken it to Jobberman, but it's not Jobberman. This is a platform where all citizens can apply to whatever vacancy that has been provided by the manufacturers. And then we, right now, the SMIDAN is actually facilitating the job center. We can sit and work with the applicants on their CV, on producing their CV, on interviewing skills, giving them small training on how to assess jobs, how to even make the applications, and then match make them between the applicants and those who are looking for the jobs. And where there are skills that are needed by these manufacturers or by the sectors or the different sectors, and we can train them using SUPER, or we can provide them using the business process outsourcing, then we do that, we make that to happen seamlessly. So it's kind of a cohesive environment to create jobs, facilitate employment, and ensure that people have jobs that are befitting and that are dignifying to their requisite skills and to their qualifications. And that is the mandate that was given to us by the president. And I'm happy to announce that we are achieving it. So far, SUPER is training 100,000 people already. We received applications of more than 500, 500,000 people. Nationwide, we did accreditation, selected 100,000 to start because we just have a limited trade test area. When we create more curriculum and more trade test area, we will take the remaining people and we keep on training them. So currently we are training across all cities where we have centers in the country, and we will have the first 100,000 certified and trained artisans in 6 months' time.
Thank you very much for that. And I'm sure we've taken one or two insights from that video. We had to, because that video was sent to us to broadcast today, so that we can give the discussion, can give context to the discussion of today's conference. So I believe we must have had one or two insight as to what has been said by the Honorable Minister there. And I'm pleased to inform you that we now have in our midst a representative of VVIP, because he's still stuck at the meeting, and he's promised he will still be here. But in the meantime, he sent in a representative in the person of Professor Kazim Bello. Professor Kazim Bello, you are highly welcome to this conference. Welcome for being part of this. So I will be taking you on in the next couple of minutes. So once again, thank you so very much for being part of this conference. We are really glad to have you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adebola, and nice to meet you again.
Thank you so much, sir. Let me, before we start the question and answer session, usually I'll be the one to fire the first salvo. All I just want, given what we've just seen in that video, and vis-a-vis the topic of today, which is unlocking trade and investment in Nigeria, the essential insights for navigating opportunities in Africa, in Africa's largest growing economy. My question to you, Your Honorable, would be that in your own view, how far do you think we have come as a country, especially since the last 12 months, in the policies that have been churned out by this administration? How far has it helped the country in unlocking trade investment opportunities that are abound in this country? Because despite, I'm saying this because despite, as part of the Japa syndrome of some of the undiscerned Nigerians, I still strongly believe that Nigeria is awash with opportunities, which is the reason, in my view, that we have so many expatriates doing the opposite of Japa by going into Nigeria and taking up some of the opportunities that are bound in the country, while some of our own people are going the other way. So in your own view, sir, I just wanted you to give us a brief overview as to what you see as the effect of the policies so far turned out by this government in helping to unlock the trade and investment opportunities in Nigeria, and how has the essential insights been going on for navigating those opportunities in Nigeria, which is now classed as Africa's fastest growing economy? So that's my first question for you, sir. Thank you very much. You have the floor.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Adebola, and for an excellent host of this conference. I want to test to make sure that you are hearing me, and once you can hear me, I believe everybody else can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's very important. Secondly, actually, I'm not a professor. I'm a doctor.
Okay.
I apply my doctorate in business economics, and not a professor, but I have been an adjunct professor, but I don't lecture anymore. So I was just an adjunct professor when I was lecturing shortly after my PhD. So I will simply want to be referred to as a doctor, not a professor.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Now, going to your question, that's a very loaded question, but honestly, I patiently listened to the TVC news item played out interview with the Honorable Minister of Trade and Investment, and that captured precisely what the government has been doing in the last 14 months since the inception of this administration. And I must say that was very impressive. As somebody that sits in New York at the headquarters of business and trade and finances globally, we hear a lot of information. We do have access to a lot of information. So we know precisely what every country is doing out there and what they are not doing. What I can tell you is that we've been also monitoring what Nigeria is doing vis-a-vis comparing notes with global analysts on what they are saying about Nigeria. When you look at what the government has been doing in the last 12 months, the global analysts, I would say, are a little bit convoluted in the sense that during the past administration of President Buhari, without actually playing down on that administration. We've been hearing a lot of things about Fitch and rating, all these rating organizations trying to downplay Nigeria, especially with trade investment and trade balances. They try to downplay Nigeria, but if you look at the trend in the last 14 months, they've been silent. They've practically been silent. The reason why they are silent is that they figured out that the federal government was attempting to do the right thing by changing some of the non-physical dislocation, dysfunctionalities in the Nigerian economy by those reforms. Those reforms that the president has initiated are just simply inevitable. They are inevitable. Those are the things that most global analysts, global institutions have been calling for. The only thing that I have seen and noticed in the government, and when I came to Nigeria the last time, I was a guest to one of the TV stations. I forgot the name of the TV. I said it over there. I said, somebody got to wake up the information network of the presidency. It is not working. I don't know of now. The only reason is that we need to communicate. We need to educate. We need to interrogate with the community to let them understand that these changes are inevitable. We definitely cannot do anything about it. I heard during the last protest people saying bring back petrol to 220. Come on, it is not possible. I'm right there sitting down right as I'm speaking to you in North Carolina, in Durham, North Carolina. The cost of gasoline next to me here is $4, almost $5. Multiply $5 by 150, 1,500. How much does that give you? Why can't you come publicly say you want to buy petrol at 200? This is because, in my opinion, the government is not doing enough. Look at what the minister just rolled out just now. Those are impressive. If you call most of the guys on the streets last week or 2 weeks ago, interview them and let them list all these things the minister has done, they don't know anything about it. They have absolutely no knowledge about it. And the government need to communicate and talk, speak. In fact, listen, even the military administration of Babangida, when he came, do you know why he succeeded? The only reason why he succeeded was that they knew, I don't know who gave them that idea, they knew information is powerful. He used MAMSA, he used Bishop, he used another one called information something. They were all over the place telling Nigeria about all kind of information. So you need to actually engage Nigeria with a lot of information. When you listen to the grievances from those protesters, you will be amazed that they don't know anything. Most of them don't even know some of the things they are asking for. It's already in place. All they need to do is to engage the government and further to tap on it. So I'm saying that missing link. One of the things I'm going to say today, before, in order to answer your question, is that yes, Nigeria is doing a lot when it comes to engaging in global trade. There's absolutely nothing we can do. The president came with an agenda. He says this administration is targeting $1 trillion economy by 2027. No, I mean, I think 2030, maybe thinking that he's going to come in the second term, hopefully. And then by 2030, Nigeria economy should be clocking 2030. Mr. Debola, this target was supposed to have been reached 40 years ago.
Wow.
I was part of I was in University of Ibadan then when NISA came up with an economic blueprint for Nigeria. That blueprint says by 2020, Nigerian economy will be at 1 trillion economy. And now we are trying to pursue that. So one of the things we have to do is to formulate a policy based on what the minister has rolled out and say, okay, what is our target? How do we reach 1 trillion economy? What do we need to do? Right now, our trade balances is reading about $1 billion less globally. For a trillion economy, by analyst perception, we need to be doing $320 billion trade annually. How do we get to that? Before I run too much, I have some other things I want to suggest. Number one, suggestion I'll make here is that we should focus on 1 trillion economy. It is no-brainer. We are supposed to have reached 1 trillion 2020. That was the projection since 1980. That projection was made in 1980 that Nigeria will be 1 trillion in 2020. By 2020, we are 250 billion. That is a quarter of the projection. So that means that we have the potential in Nigeria to reach that 1 trillion. So what do we need to do is what we have to do next step.
Oh, thank you so very much, sir, for that elaborate expose on that question. I think to buttress what you just said now, I think we have used those arguments here on this program so many times that irrespective of what the protesters are saying or anything, the fact remains that majority of the policies that have been churned out by this government are inevitable. I think I said it in my statement this morning, in my Saturday message, that they are inevitable, and these are policies that previous governments going down over 20 or 30 years ago has been shying away from, simply because of the fear of what the blowback that this present government is getting from the people it is trying to salvage with this same policy. So that was the reason why previous governments have been shying away from it. But then the question is, for how long are we going to continue to postpone the evil day? So it is better we do it now and salvage it tomorrow, because I believe where I am today is as a result of decisions that I made yesterday. So where I'm going to be tomorrow will be determined by the decisions I'm making now. So which is why I think this government is doing what it's doing now, because it is now or never. Because if we don't do it now, then I'm afraid the country will be doomed. So I think for me, I'm giving the presidency a kudos for having the balls, so to speak, to do what has been hitherto considered undoable by previous administration. So instead of people knocking this government, I think we should give it more encouragement to say we need you to do more. And like I said earlier this morning, that look, all we just need to do is to look deep into what this government is trying to achieve with some of these policies, because it is either we do it now and safeguard our tomorrow, or we continue to postpone the evil day, and our children will wake up tomorrow and begin to blame us that we did not do what we were supposed to do. So thank you so very much, sir, for highlighting all of that, because I really cherish your frankness and openness about the whole thing, which is what, again, when you were talking about deficiency in information dissemination, I think it is not just about this government. It's been like that for over so many years, which is what we saw in the renewed hope that we decided, okay, let us bridge this gap, because like the Bible says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. When people don't have information, then you give room for so many fake news and everything. That is why fake news thrives on social media today, because the people are not having the right source. And that is why we created this platform, so that we can bridge the gap, that Nigerians across the globe can come and discuss with our leaders. And so far, so good. They have always been generous with information, just like you have been now. And just this last Saturday, the Minister of Health, when he listens to two of our participants who, apart from asking their question, they came up with some grandiose program of action that they see as a way of helping the healthcare program of the government. The minister was impressed, and he instantly gave them an invitation to come and see him in Abuja. And guess what? One of the two was in Abuja this week, and she immediately, after pitching her program to the minister, she got an appointment into a board. Imagine that. So, which means this government has this perception is kind of open to suggestions from Nigerians from anywhere, and that is why we have always been calling on Nigerians across the globe that this very table vehicle that we're putting on now is the place for everybody to be. Come here. If you have any program that you think would be beneficial to the country, bring it on. Any of our leaders who's our VVIP will look into it, because every single one of them that we brought here have shown us that they are ready to partner with Nigerians no matter who they are, male, female, long, short, black or white, they are ready to partner with us to make sure that, because as far as we're concerned, what we want is the progress of Nigeria, and that is why we do what we're doing. So thank you so very much, sir. We're going to be opening the floor now to question and answers, and we have given one of the participants a golden ticket, whom we will be giving 3 minutes to talk. He's one of those. He's one of the experts in investment portfolio. He has an investment portfolio expertise. He's a person of Alhaji Dauda Adams. I will yield the floor to him, and after that, I will be calling on my co-host now to take on other participants that have questions. And like I said earlier on, any participant that has any question to ask, or if you have any idea that you think you want to sell to the government, just like Dr. Okoro did last week, and Dr. Emo. Those are the two people that got invitation from the Honorable Minister last week. Dr. Emo from America, and Dr. Okoro. Dr. Okoro she's gone to Abuja now. We're waiting for Dr. Emo now to do the same, and hopefully both of them will, because last week just shows us that when preparation meets opportunity, miracle happens. So that's what happened to Dr. Okoro this week. She not only got her programs accepted by the minister, she got an appointment into the board. So I think it's an eye-opener to every Nigerian across the globe now, that this is the time for you now to think of what you can do for your country, not what the country can do for you. But of course, in the process of you doing something for the country, of course, the country will pay you back in kind. So, but the first move is for you to think of what you can do for the country. So that is what this program is all about. So thank you so very much again, sir, for that elaborate explanation. I think I will yield the floor now to Alhaji Dauda Adams. Can my co-host please unmute Alhaji Dauda Adams? You have 3 minutes now to pitch to our special guest this afternoon. Thank you so very much, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody, and good evening, VVIP. I didn't get that name. I still got John here. Right.
Kazim Bello.
Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are. Thank you for taking my question. So I'm going to cover 2 areas, and I'm going to be very brief. The first one is the ease of doing business in Nigeria. And I've spoken to many people as well, with my experience and other people's experience as well. I think we need to, shine a light on the CAC. Their online system of registration of business is not very straightforward. And unless you use a third party, like solicitor, lawyers, or paper pushers, so this area should be looked at. The staff who are dealing with the registration as well rejected some business name in order to, increase how many times you try to register your company. And if you are registering a company and it fails, if the name fails, they still charge you. So we are thinking that it's not, it's not right to charge people if the name is not successful in registering. It is too expensive, registering a business in Nigeria. And they ask too much documentation as well, which might not be relevant. So all these areas need to be reviewed because it can inhibit, people registering company. I was part of a team to register a company, and we faced so much difficulties, and we just abandoned it and take our investment and go to somewhere else, where we can get some return. The second area I want to talk about is the agriculture industry. This is the key for us. If we can unlock agriculture, I think we will be able to reap the reward very, very quickly, because in agriculture, we have harvest within 6 months or 9 months, and we can have 2 harvests within a year. And we will produce a lot of employment in these areas. So we will be looking at the agricultural land should be mapped to say this land is only to be used for agriculture, nothing else. Yeah, and we're looking at as well that, you know, it should be cheaper. There's a differentiation between development land and agricultural land. Agricultural land should be cheaper by acreage. Also, we're looking at there should be a leasehold, at least 99 years leasehold for tenant farmers who are not able to buy a freehold farm. That will increase the tenure of the farmers and give them, you know, some give them time to be able to work on that farm without fearing of losing their farm to, you know, because they can't pay if they change the price or whatever. Change of land use have to be very, very rigid, that we cannot allow the developer to use a farmland for developing properties for speculation. So those are the two areas, you know, I'm more concerned. And the last point is to develop the area of cottage industry, to ask our farmer to add values to their products. So in the value chain, they have more. So they're not just producing and selling to the middleman. So I remember when I was young, there was this woman. She doesn't know anything about chemistry. She extracts oil from the palm kernel. Yeah, she's doing this by how you distill distilled whiskey. That's how this woman is doing it. And when I was going to school and doing chemistry, I said, how this woman know about this? And this oil, they extract it from the seed of palm kernel. Yeah, that is after you've removed the oil, they've done the oil, then the seed is thrown away. Then this woman will take it, crack the seed. The oil is used for aromatherapy. Very, very good indeed. And it's very high price. So we should be looking at our farmers association should be encouraging farmers to add values to their products. If you have orchard of guava, you can use guava and press your guava and juice and sell it. Yeah. If you have a pineapple farm that will be rotten, you can extract juice and sell this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Adams. I think I'm impressed with some of the points that you raised there. But before I yield the floor to our special guest of honor representative to respond to you, I would sincerely advise that some of the things that you raised now, if you can just put them into paper form, because I think that this can be some kind of project that you can push to the special advisor, you know, when it does come on. So I'm just trying to throw that idea now to you.
Yeah, I'll surely do that.
Yeah, please do. Before I yield the floor to Dr. Kazim Bello, I've just been duly informed that our grand patron has graciously joined, as he normally does. Sometimes he sneaks in on us like that, unannounced, and today we got him. So I would like to yield the floor for him. It's Honorable Babatunde Ogala, SAN. He's the senior advocate counsel to our president. He would like to address us on the issue of the day. So, Honorable Babatunde Ogala, SAN, you have the floor now, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much for taking me unawares. As usual, I just wanted to listen in, learn from the likes of Dr. Bello, Alhaji Dauda, who has extensively talked about what we could do in the agri-value chain, and Dr. Bello, who has used, you know, we lawyers, we imagine we know it all, but we're always learning, because when I even hear, they say we hear legal jargon, we use legal jargons. Kazim Bello just took me on the tour of economic jargons now. So all I can say, I mean, this is not an area I'm very vast in, but common sense tells me that, of course, like it's been mentioned by Dr. Bello, which I totally agree with. The issue of perception of what this government is doing is extremely key, that a lot of Nigerians either are not well informed about what the government is doing through its own undoing, or the social media or our reading habit has become so, I'm trying to use the right word, our reading habit has been so depreciated that we don't even want to read, we don't want to listen. So what I would just say is I also listen to the narrative by the Minister of Trade and Investment, and I must say I also totally agree that even some of the things she reeled out, even people like me may be guilty of not being well informed about them. So one thing that is key, like Dr. Bello has said, is communicating the policies to the Nigerians, for them to know what you are doing. And I must say, from last week, or 2 weeks ago, the issue of Dr. Okoro and the Honorable Minister of Health, that is the kind of thing what we love to hear. I wish I could get the minister to just say thank you. At least it gives an impression of somebody who listens, of a government that listens, that is ready and willing to tap skills from wherever it can find it. To imagine that the Dr. Okoro, yes, made a presentation and the minister invited her and immediately brought her on board to contribute her quota. I think it's quite commendable. And one must also commend her for at least coming out, not asking, like it's been said, what the nation can do for her, but she came out to say, this is what I think we can do. And rightly so, the nation has invited her to come and do it for the nation. I hope Dr. Dauda's proposals too. Is it Dr. Alaji Dauda? Sorry.
Alaji Dauda.
Proposals too, especially on agriculture, would also find some. We will also find some to get some attention somewhere. Like you rightly said, let them put it in writing. Through some of us, we can also pass it to the appropriate quarters for consideration. And let me just add that in this series that we've been on for quite a while, I think we should start putting together a compendium, even if it's on a quarterly basis. Yeah. It's not enough to just have very informed speakers like Dr. Bello, Alaji Dauda come here, make presentations, and they go. I think we should start taking notes, put them in a compendium, even if it's quarterly. Let us submit these things to the appropriate quarters, including Mr. President. Like Prince Omole will tell you, he and I talk a lot in the background. We put heads together regularly. And wherever the opportunity arises, these things are passed on. And you'll be amazed that some of the policies you see are also sometimes contributions from what we get in places like this. So that is just an extra challenge for you, my learner from J.K. Adebola, for us to start putting these things together in a compendium, in whatever manner we can put it. Let us at least have where we document. Documentation is key. So having said that, I'm here, so I'm supposed to be here to be part of the audience, to learn, and I must say Dr. Bello has taught me a few things now to learn. I've learned from Alaji Dauda, especially in the agric value chain. And I must also, I take a special interest in his comments on his experience with the Corporate Affairs Commission. If it is so, I mean, as a lawyer, and I know the current Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission will also take his matter seriously. If we can make contact, we will take this up with the Corporate Affairs Commission, because I did hear him say they had problems with registration and they had to take their business elsewhere. I would personally love to know what kind of problems they had, and I'm willing and ready to assist in resolving whatever it is if the business can still be returned back to our country rather than being taken elsewhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, our grand patron. I think it's like I've always said, it's always a joy to have you around. And I personally, like to always feed off your words of wisdom, which again you've thrown that the gauntlet to us now, and which makes me to believe the saying that great minds do think alike. Because talking about the compendium that you just mentioned, that's one thing that myself and Prince Ademole have spoken about a couple of weeks ago, which we've started working on. So, and it's like you've just read through us now. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks now, that compendium will be ready for the first quarter of this program. Because we like you, we feel too that most of the things that we're doing now, especially with most of the ideas that's been brought in by participants, which we have been collating, we don't want to. We've sent some to the right authorities, but we still want to have that compendium that will be like in a bundle, the kind of bundle that we do in court that will present to the presidency, because for me that is where the buck stops, at the presidency. So if we can, we feel that if we can get that there, it will get a higher traction, and things will begin to move. So we are working on that, sir. So thank you so very much for bringing that up. And again, regarding Alhaji Dauda Adams, you can be rest assured, sir, that he will get in touch with you through Prince Ademole. I will make sure that we get that done within the next couple of days, sir. So you should be hearing from us. Thank you so very much again, once again, for your support all the time. It's very much appreciated. So thank you so much. So
before we go, let me quickly let you know that the president himself is aware of this program.
Wow, that's good.
He is aware. I can tell you that for free. Or if somebody knows, he is aware.
That's good to know, sir. That's good. Thank you so very much for that, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. So before I yield the floor to my co-host, I would like Dr. Kazim Bello to respond to Alhaji Dauda. Then I will yield the floor to my co-host to field the other the questions from the participants. So Dr. Kazim Bello, you have the floor now, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Debola. Two things briefly, then I will try to address the issue raised by Alhaji Adams Dauda. Number one, on a lighter mood, I want to, you have so many things about my big brother, Barrister Babatunde Ogala. By the time I said this, you will understand. Let me say this for free. Mr. Ogala, from when we know him, when we were a little boy in the college, is a down-to-earth individual. He's very principled, he's very straightforward, and he's always goal-oriented, and he achieves his goal. Senator and your Honorable Sir, my name is, you know me, my trade name then was Funsho Bello. Just here, Senator Funsho Bello. Way back in UI then.
Okay, now. Welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, now. Okay, okay. All right.
It's glad to reconnect with you here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We hear everything they are doing, and we are so proud of it. I mean, we are not surprised. Some other people might be surprised, but this has been your trailblazer from when you are young, and we know that you mentor us, and we are proud to be a mentee to you. And secondly, I know why Mr. Honorable Omole actually tapped on me this morning. I woke up this morning to find the text that I have to join this program. And I will like to have a brief moment, about 2 minutes, to explain why he invited me. Because when the president, immediately after the election, I did a presentation on the economic blueprint as received from the global analysts in New York and conglomerate of global analysts. including the trade desk at the Nigerian consulate in New York. They just send representatives to that. I will talk about that for 2 minutes after that. But now let's go to the topic that I was asked to address. I don't want to deviate from the program. Yes, Alhaji Dauda actually raised valid point. Why not trying to intercede for the Ministry of Trade and Investment? One thing I know is that there has been this challenge about improving the trade environment in Nigeria. Actually started with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. We need to give credit to him. He actually saw the need for us to elevate the standard of trade business, how we do business in Nigeria, especially the environment ecosystem. And the record says there that we moved from number 97th nation on planet in the ease of doing business to number about 34. That was impressive. That was during Professor Yemi Osinbajo. That breathtaking improvement was noticeable. Now, coming back to what we are doing now, I think Alhaji Dauda should approach. I'm glad that Honorable Ogala has been able to offer to assist in whatever challenges they have with business education. Believe me, trust me, we sit there, and my job is I operate a trade and investment and private equity firm. So we hear of this problem, especially from overseas people that want to do business in Nigeria, that the website of the CAC is very complicated to work with. And none of them know any attorney in Nigeria they can tap on. Even if they know them, they can't even trust who they are talking to. So we should be able to develop a system. But I understand, again, that there is a company based out of Seattle in US that has offered the CAC opportunity to conduct, to give them an application, a web application that will assist in registering businesses in Nigeria. If you go to CAC website, I'm sure that information will be there. So that's part of the things that they are doing, but we need to give them time. Just like we have with the Minister of Internal Affairs Minister, he has done tremendous amount of job in improving the system when it comes to immigration services in Nigeria. I believe he has introduced a lot of technology in a sort of framework, institutional framework, and even improve on the legal system. I'm sure the CAC, as one agency under the Trade and Investment, should be or is looking at that. Again, information is key. You got to disseminate those information to people like Alhaji Dauda that may not be aware. But I know that there is a company based in Seattle that are giving them that application to improve. Yeah, again, you said it all. Agriculture is the key in getting us out of the wood in Nigeria. There's no way I doubt about it, because that is an area where we have a competitive advantage than anybody elsewhere. We have 70% arable land in Nigeria. Why can't we put it to use? I heard you talk about two-season agricultural production. There's technology out there now that can give us 4-season plantation in Nigeria, meaning that we can plant between January and March and June and October and December, giving us 4-season plantation. So why can't we adopt that? So again, I will support the idea that most of what this information should be. I mean, I know the government circle, people know about it. We have intelligent, very qualified people as ministers and money. Look at the resume of my good friend that is essay on trade and investment. I know him in New York. I know him well back in New York, but I didn't know that he's even in Abuja with the essay in trade and investment. But when I was in the trade desk in the Citibank, I used to meet him somewhere in New York, in most of the investment forum around here. But I didn't know he's back in Nigeria. People like that are very experienced. You can't decimate their capacity and knowledge. And I know that within the area of government circle in Nigeria, we have competent people. And all they needed to do, like you rightly said, is to connect with the global world and then use that to facilitate what is going on in Nigeria. Again, maybe afterwards, I will talk about the presentation I made at the headquarters of APC in Abuja. I believe that was in March, immediately after the election. And I believe that proposal was sent to the vice president, but we never hear anything about it. I don't have to hear anything about it. It was just a suggestion put together. And to talk about it briefly, some of the suggestions that we made in that blueprint is already being implemented by government. It's actually being implemented. Honorable Molly can testify to that, and we can make it available for this platform, and it can be shared with the government again.
Thank you so very much again for once again, giving us that elaborate explanation to Alhaji Dauda's input. And I'm so glad that you touched on the ease of doing business in Nigeria stuff, which is, like you said, was slightly initiated by the former Vice President, Professor Oshibadu. Again, give kudos to him, and that has helped a lot. It's part of some of the difficulties that people like Alhaji Adams are having. I think by and large, if you put that Nigeria on a scale, I think the country is coming up in leaps and bounds regarding the ease of doing business. Because whilst I was researching for this program today, I stumbled on something that really hit out at me. It was a piece written by one Nigerian called Timi Odediro. He is the content manager at Aitana. He wrote a brilliant article, regarding this ease of doing business in Nigeria, where he likened, well, he argued that Nigeria is he gave three key points as to why Nigeria is the place for anybody who wants to do business. And that just to waste our time, I'll just restrict myself to those three points. It says, number one, that Nigeria is the fastest growing population and strategic location to the rest of Africa. That is point number one. Why people would prefer to go to Nigeria to do for investments. And number two is that it says there's abundant resources and a fast-growing economy. And lastly, it says favorable policies. And he specifically referred to the free zones and tax incentives, which I believe he was talking about what is applicable in Lagos. So for me, I think by and large, Nigeria is still a place for most investors to go to invest because of all those three, especially because of the natural and human resources in that country. I think if we can just get the little things that we are complaining about, especially that Alhaji Dauda made mention earlier on, those are the little things that may spoil whatever gains that we are making in the area of ease of doing business. If we can get that done, I think the country will be on the right trajectory to being not just the giant of Africa in name alone, but in acts and in deeds. So I think we are on the right track on that. So hopefully, when Alhaji Dauda come up with his paper on that, and he's had the promises from our grand patron now that he will help him to facilitate the document getting to the right quarter. So again, like I said, this is what this program is all about. All we do here is to give that platform for any Nigerian anywhere across the world. If you have any program or anything that you think can move the country forward, bring it on here. We have people backing us, just like you just heard now. Even the president himself is aware of what we are doing. So which means everything you have to be very careful what you say here now, because Jagaban himself is listening. So be careful, but make sure that, it's like I said in my Saturday message this morning, don't just come and participate. Come and show us what you can do for Nigeria. And trust me, I can guarantee you that we have people backing us. You've heard it now from our grand patron, who says he himself will personally see that whatever it is that we bring to him, he will make sure that the president gets it. So that is what we are here for. And that is why we do what we do. Don't just come here to participate. Come here, come with what you know you can do to better the country, because that is what you will have your name written in gold if you do that. So there we go. I don't want to belabor too much. So let me just hand over to my my co-host now, who will take us, who will take on the questions, and who will take 3 questions at a time, and he will then yield the floor to the representative of our special guest now to answer them. So I will be yielding the floor to one of my co-hosts named Sheung Bayewu, also known as Boyo. Boyo, you have the floor now. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, the Chief Host, J.K. Adebola, and thank you, our Grand Patron and Ogala, for that opportunity that you're going to take the opportunity to sort out Alhaji Dauda. I'll be calling on the following people. I want them to ready in the so that we can get them to ask their questions. I have number 1 on the list is Jalili Aziz, Dr. M.O. I'm afraid that I've got somebody using iPhone. We would love you to share your real name so that we can call you, so that you can be the 3rd on the list. But if not, I'm going to now jump to Mr. Lekon Lajeje. So on that note, I will want to say once again, thank you all for joining us today. You can see that we are meeting the expectation of Nigerians, bringing people to the Nigerian community, and for everybody to see that we can all contribute whatever we can do to help the government of the day. We believe in the government, and we know that they're going to do well. So we need your help. We need your information. Whatever skills that you can bring on board, bring it on. We always get something, and we always get it to the right people for you. The era of your idea being stolen, your ideas being taken off, is not getting there. That will not happen under our watch. We can assure you that your ideas, your proposals, if it is genuinely that is not already in the pipeline, will definitely see the light of the day. Thank you. On that note, I will call on Mr. Jalili Aziz to ask this question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I on?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't have any question, but just a few comments. First of all, my wish and my prayer is that the government gets our energy. When I say energy, electricity, right? Because talking of manufacturing, I think energy is very, very key. The last week when I participated on this program, I was somewhere in the Caribbean. And this is where I used to live sometimes before. And what I noticed, they have a very fantastic forest or terrain, just like we have it in Nigeria. And back then, I always observe during the mango season, the mango will litter the entire ground there in the Caribbean where I used to live. But interestingly, the last time I visited, which was sometime last week, that didn't happen again. I was wondering, why are the mangoes not on the floor again, not knowing that somebody has taken it on board? They now pick the mangoes, and because they have this fantastic electricity 24/7, somebody is now taking that advantage. They will collect the mangoes, cut it into pieces, and get it frozen, and supplying it to all this grocery. So you cannot find mangoes on the ground now. If you want a mango, you have to go to the grocery and get and buy it. So I wish we have our energy right in Nigeria, because there are a lot of opportunities, but they are waiting for that resources to be available. And hopefully, I have in my own local community too. I'm trying to get into agriculture. But what I am intending to do, again, has to be dependent on electricity. So I wish and I pray that we get it right. That's just my contribution this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jalili, for that. Can I have Dr. Emo, please?
Yeah. Hold on. I need to unmute my. Can you unmute my video so I can, you said that they have to see you when you're talking. Can you please unmute my video? My camera, or whatever they're doing that, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, you already unmuted. Yeah.
Okay, good. Right. So my thing is, see, I always try to bring something here to see how we can help the country. Actually, I'm going to need like 3 minutes, because I'm talking to a company about coming to Nigeria to set up an industry. So these are the questions they asked me, okay? Actually, somebody already talked about power, which is true, because they mentioned that they asked me about the access and formal legal institution. They asked me about security because they're trying to annex the company to Nigeria, okay, which is a very important company because the president said that he's giving a free free what do you call it? Free tax for pharmaceuticals. So we're talking about pharmaceutical industry, okay? That we come to Nigeria and set up something, okay? And they asked me about. So I want somebody to be making this note. That's why I need about 3 minutes, okay? They asked me about access. Okay? Access is like where you can people we can talk to and start unfolding the thing, okay? Then about our formal legal institutions to make sure that their investment is going to be protected. And they asked me about communication, because they said they tried to make an important communication to Nigeria. It's not going through. And I tried it, it's working. I mean, it doesn't work. The only way you can get through to people when you call them through WhatsApp. But in business world, there's nothing like WhatsApp. You have to be real, So communication to Nigeria is not going, because when they talk about electricity, I gave them one number, this number, I think disk or whatever. They were calling, it wasn't going through. So this is part of our easy of doing business. When we talk about easy of doing business, we have to put all these things in place. I have a Caucasian, a white guy that's working with me. His name is Jack. So then okay, what's the other one they said? Okay, foreign. Okay. I think these are the key issues they asked me about to make sure that they are going to be business is going to be hitch free, and they are going to be communication, because the idea is like if we have somebody there they want to talk to, they cannot get through. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. So that means that's not easy of doing business. Business is not only registration and this. You have to facilitate that. You have to put other things around, okay? So these are some of the things they asked me. But including my partner, who is a Caucasian, a white guy, I told them that we're working them out, that you're gonna work, so that they cannot stop all the process in place. So now, about ministers, not knowing what I think I was SM Ogara, that's saying that people don't know what they're doing. You can develop, each facility can develop minister portal where you can log in and see all the things that do. All these things are leadership, okay? We cannot, like when you were talking about Dr. Kora, I'm also Dr. Kora that was also invited, but I need an invitation from the Ministry of Health for me to attend. I've already told that to the Barrister JK. So whether they're going to give it to me, that's up to them, because I'm not looking for a job. I'm trying to help the organization, because we're talking about, one pack, medical facility. It's called a one-stop shop. That's what I was talking about, which is going to include electronic medical record. Anyway, so the thing is that we have to get all these things in place. So if they can develop a ministerial portal for each place where you can log in, even foreigners can log in and see what is going on there. These are about education, okay? So I'm trying to bring my innermost knowledge I have here. I'm being a director for 16 years, like I said before, retired from the state of Texas, and now working for a corporation. I don't think if I don't know what I'm doing, that a white man will pay me, retaining me in the distance. That's obvious, because they don't pay you if you don't produce. So these are some of the things I'm trying to bring to the table. But all I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be bringing it, whether you buy it, you don't buy it. I'm not looking for a job, okay? I'm already doing good. So I'm just trying to help my country the best I can. So I'm not here to compete with anybody of this, but I keep on bringing all these ideas. So if all these things can be looked into, so that I can fast forward my decision with the company and say, hey, look, all these things are in place. If you call somebody, you read the person, not by WhatsApp. If you call this person, you read that person, because they are bringing money to invest. And when somebody is bringing money, they attach value to it. It's not like they just word of mouth, I'm coming, make me this and make me that. If you're going to bring money, you demand well for your money. That's what it is. And that's how it works here. So please, this is all I'm talking about, because I want to see how I can help. Being here for so many years and trying to, see how I can help the country. I'm not there to look for money, because I don't think that even if I'm employed, they can afford me. I'm sorry to say that. But if this can be done, that will help us and also help to create employment. and also encourage other investors to come and do what it's supposed to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor, for that. I think we'll take that on board. And we know you're a regular person on Saturdays that you come. We know that, and we can assure you that when we compile our compendium, all your proposals will be there, and then we can take it forward. And I know you have a link to get to us, to the Renewed Hope team, but we're going to work on what you're saying so we can assure you and the rest of the world that whatever we do from this angle is going to be authentic. It might take a bit of time with bureaucracy, but we can assure you that we're going to get it done and sorted. So that next to my next caller, next person that's going to ask this question, Mr. Lekon Lajedi, please. Thank you. You have the floor.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sirs. Good evening. I believe you can hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Yeah, my name is Lekon Lajedi. I'm in Glasgow. And I'm so happy that I was invited for this program. But I don't want to repeat what others have said with respect to ease of doing business, because it's something we have experienced in not a palatable way. And even in the last administration, there was one Dr. Jumoke that was in that office. She's still in this present government, but she's no longer in the ease of doing business. I suggested to her, I made some contribution, but so far so good. And part of it is that ease of doing business, when you look at the United Kingdom where we are here, we have only one revenue generating agency, which is HMRC. In Nigeria, we have so many revenue generating agencies. Yes, it's possible that we may have so many, but why can't we consolidate all the income of the government into one single account? Instead of all different revenue generating agencies that is not helping the business, the foreigners. And I will also share another experience with you. Last year, I think around October, November, we were to meet with Dr. Salako, the Minister of State for Environment. He actually, we sent a proposal, he invited us for a meeting on carbon emission. Then we suggested that, okay, we can register the Nigeria. Before they go to Dubai, that we can help the country. Like Doctor said, we are also trying to help the country. I work with Bank of America. I'm comfortable in my own way. We have other businesses that we think that it can help the country. But he scheduled a meeting for us. We were waiting for him for over 45 minutes. He could not come to that meeting. So at the end, they went to Dubai. Everything in our proposal that we eventually sent to him, how we can help the country generate over 12 billion from carbon emission. They came back from Dubai. The president was there. He recognized and appreciated what they discussed. He set up a interministerial committee on how to register Nigeria in the international world on the carbon management, carbon compliance, and gas flaring. Up to today, nothing is coming out from that committee. Nobody is reaching out back to us. We are not asking them to pay us. We only need that, okay, we want to represent the government of Nigeria, but we can't just go ahead and say we are representing the government if there is no backing of the ministers or from the president. We even reach out to a friend to help us get this FIRS chairman, that because he is a part of the co-chairman of that interministerial committee. Up to today, nothing is coming from there. So if you want to help the country, and the country itself is not reaching out, or it's not making things easy, then how do we move forward? Then I think it was Dr. Bello that made mention of we can now farm 4 times of the year. I have there's a farm that I'm trying to partner with in Nigeria. When they started this year, about 10,000 beds. I remember the feed was 7,000. I started this morning, feed is 18,200. How do you encourage them? So if the minister, I know Dr. Doris briefly when I was in Senate Bank, she was in HR then. That was as far back as 2003. But they should find a way of helping medium-scale enterprises. And some of us that are ready to help the government in any way, they should encourage us. They should make the economy to not complex for industry and people that actually have the genuine progress to help the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Liko, for that. I think that is one of the reasons we're here, and we're going to take all what you said on board, because this is being recorded. They're all germane things, and we like your passion, and we encourage everyone that have that passion for Nigeria to be great again to come by and begin to take it forward. I'll be going back to my chief host, J.K. Adebola, to continue the program. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Boyo. I think I will use the floor now to Dr. Kazim Bello to respond to all those questions before we go back to the floor for more questions. Thank you so very much, sir. You now have the floor now, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Boyo, Prince Adebola. Now, let me take the issues as raised by our three questionnaires. Mr. Jalili was a comment on energy. Again, when I said Nigeria needed a $320 billion trade annually in order to appear in the club of $1 trillion economy, that component of energy is inevitable. It's just going to happen. There are so many statistics there we need to understand. There's no doubt that from the little business that Mr. Jalili is trying to establish back home in his village to the large corporation, like the biggest company in Nigeria today, as we know, is Dangote Refinery. Is the single largest investment in Nigeria as of today. In between them, all of them need energy. If there's anything that Nigeria needs in order to propel every sector, and I insist, every sector, and I'm speaking for the government now, is energy. And I believe this government is working very hard towards that. You will notice that the president, neither anybody within the business circle, government circle, has not been coming up to tell us, don't worry, you get power by 2027. Because the government is working behind the scene. The issue is that the government is looking at what has happened since 1999. And we spent colossal amount of money on energy, and yet we are nowhere. We are still generating about 4,500 megawatts and probably distributing 3,000. Every now and then, you hear the system collapse. This year alone, that system has collapsed 3 times. This year alone, the national grid collapsed 3 times. Honestly, to be honest, I've traveled around the globe. I have never heard of that before, that a whole national system collapses. And I know the government is doing something on the ground. By the time the government comes out with its blueprints on energy, you will see that there's a silent drop on that energy policy. But they are coming with something. I know they are coming with something. And we that are represented in the global financial world, we are actually ready for them. We will help them mobilize a lot of money. Trust me about that. We know where the money is, including the green energy that Mr. Lekonlajide said. Green energy funding alone, if you track it on the global market, is now 3.4 trillion fund. 3.4 trillion fund, global energy. Come on, if Nigeria can get 100 billion out of that on an annual basis, can you imagine what that can do for us to improve our energy? So I agree with Mr. Lekonlajide, but I will get to that briefly. So Mr. Jalili, be rest assured that the government is working. I know the situation is very, very bad right now, but there will be a policy. I know the government will do something. So, Mr. Dr. Emo, I'm very passionate about what you're saying. Yeah, we all know that Nigeria, everybody needs Nigeria. One thing that you have to understand about Nigeria is that much as we have quality people back home, we also have abundance of experience and qualified as quality professionals abroad, abound among the Nigerians in diaspora. Believe me, anywhere you go to, you find Nigerians in the top echelon of profession, doing a lot of things for those countries. If you start mentioning, we probably won't leave this place today with the gasalion of Nigeria doing so many things for other countries. It is not that they don't want to come back home. Yes, the environment might not be conducive for them and not friendly enough for them, but I believe we should also individually be challenged to overcome some of those issues. We should not wait for government alone. This has also been my point to diaspora. When the Indians resuscitated the economy from slowdown of the poverty helicopter to one of the fastest growing economy today. The Indian economy is growing at 6% right now as we talk about. In about 7-8 years ago, they are struggling to make 2%, just like Nigeria is struggling now. But right now, Indian economy is growing at about 6%. They didn't just do that by stroke of twist of arm. They tap on the diaspora. And guess what? The diaspora didn't wait for the government in India. They didn't wait for them, even though we have to agree that the government in India provided the environment, the infrastructure, the framework, the level framework, and things like that. But the Indians came back, invested in the system, bring money from abroad, and propel that kind of growth that we're talking about today. And yes, all those things you mentioned, I'm sure the organizer of this program is listening. These are things that are very important to the government to hear, and I'm sure they are working on it. So, Mr. Lekonladije, yes, you are very correct about the green energy funding around the world. Well, again, like I said in my response to Dr. Emo, let us do not wait for government. I sympathize with you that you have to have team of people waiting. I've been there before. During the past administration, I took 17 high-top company from China, different part of China to Nigeria. 17 companies, representing 17 companies, about almost 26 of them in that delegate. I took them to Abuja, and we achieved some results, and in some other cases, it was a lot of embarrassment when we have to wait and do this. But over the line, I figured out that, look, the best way to do it is to look at the opportunities, tap on the opportunities, and use it. Don't wait for the government. I mean, if there's a bottleneck in terms of doing business, we have somebody like our honorable son, Mr. Babatunde Ogala here, that has volunteered for somebody. You tap on somebody that can help you facilitate, because if that is the way to do business in Nigeria, well, so be it. In United States or United Kingdom, you do not have to know anybody to do business, wherever you are coming from. If we have to deal with knowing somebody to facilitate it for Nigeria without giving you any hiccup, yes, tap on it, but be rest assured that sometimes we overestimated the capacity of our government officials. They are so inundated with so many assignments. And when you set appointment and they don't meet the appointment, look, I have had to wait for the Minister of Finance in May in his office for 18 hours. After 18 hours, I concluded that, look, this man cannot be sitting there in the office drinking coffee. He must be extremely busy. And so I should have to sympathize with him. He was the one that said, come, Dr. Bello. And then I came there, in between coming, 3 governors came in without appointment. But they came for a national issue of emergency to see the finance minister. So if he's busy 18 hours, he kept me there, and I was told eventually that I'm sorry, it just to emphasize the point that, look, probably I could have done what I wanted to do or talk to the minister through another channel and achieve results. So let's explore other opportunities. Let's create institutional framework within the private sector group and not just wait for the government. And then the issue of poultry issue that you said, I can tell you this, I was in a conference, not really, it's a conference meeting with the Minister of Agriculture this past week, shortly after the protest. Not the minister himself and the ministry, so official from the ministry, but the minister himself is aware of that. And the issue on the table, one of the issues that was raised was the issue of this, the collapse and evidently the shutdown of most poultry and stock industry in Nigeria. And I'm sure that this must have prompted the president listening to stakeholders to create the Ministry of Stock, animal stock, feed animal stock in Nigeria. You are right, you are very correct that feed mills, agricultural input has gone up tremendously. We talk about this issue. We are working with the United States Department of Agriculture to bring solutions to the table in a short while. And then one of the things that alarmed the government is that the rain in Nigeria this time is very short. It's 33% short of the regular rain, meaning that by October, September, November, we're going to deal with shortage of agricultural product again. And the government has to prepare for that because we didn't see enough rain in Nigeria. So the farming period will be shortened and production will be shortened. So there's a lot of challenges. We got to understand those challenges and help the government in order to help the people. So the issue of poultry that you raised, you are right. The poultry farms and all those things are shutting down in Nigeria, but the Ministry of Agriculture is not sitting down around. I am aware of that. We are in touch in how to help those poultry farmers in Nigeria to lower the cost of feeds and lower the cost of production, and so that they can deliver product to Nigeria. So having said that, I just wanted to say that one of the things I listed, I wanted to point out, I just run them down so that I can assist our question here. One is the one I said before, trade volume. The trade volume in Nigeria has to be high. We need to up our game when it comes to trade volume to get there. The second thing is we need to address institutional framework and global engagement. The minister mentioned quite a number of global engagement in the TVC interview. If we listen to her carefully, you will see her listening a lot of things. Most of us might not understand what she was talking about. But those are extremely important engagement, global engagement. We cannot do it alone. We cannot be an island as a country. Trade development is, look at it, the two biggest economies in the world is United States and China. There can be a lot of trade war between them, but guess what? Between the two of them alone, they do $12 trillion business annually. So they can't do without each other, between China and US. So whether they like it or not, they still have to engage and come together. So we need to do a lot of global engagement. I'm glad that the minister is doing that, but we still need to do a lot. There are so many things I didn't hear her say, but that we need to engage with in terms of global business. Then the third one is articulated policy. I'm also aware that the Minister of Trade, through the presidency and the special assistant to the president, are working on the trade policy. Listen, the only reason why the NMPC and one agency of the federal government, I can't remember that name again, came out and have a problem with Dangote refinery, exchanging banter, which is not good for global investment, accusing Dangote that, oh, this is what you are doing, and Dangote in turn accusing them, is because we do not have a standard trade policy. If the trade policy say, look, you cannot import petroleum, period, nobody will argue with Dangote. If the policy say you cannot export petroleum product, that's a policy. Dangote has no right to export. It's as simple as that. But when you don't have a policy, then you leave all policy to whims and caprices of individuals. And that was why that happened. But what I'm suggesting to the government is, look, President Obasanjo in his first term initiated a policy called trade development through import substitution to industrialize Nigeria. That policy worked until when General Babangida took over. Even though we have to give credit to President Shagari, they actually implemented Obasanjo policy, because one of the handover Obasanjo gave to Shagari was a blueprint on that import substitution industry. And if we remember, let's take us back a little bit. It led to the investment in iron and steel. It led to the investment in the rolling mills, 4 of them in Nigeria, 4 across Nigeria. It led to the investment to element petrochemical. It led to the investment into aluminium. It led to the investment in the Woking power paper mill. It led to the Kanu tannery factory, the tannery industry in Kanu, and so on and so forth, including the Takwe oil and iron oil. But guess what? After the military came back, they closed, they shut down all those industries. They shut it down. How can we develop industry without those industries? So we need to go back to that policy. I insist we have to go back to it. That is the right policy for us in 1980. And I believe it is still the same policy for us in 2024. Import substitution. Nothing can solve Nigerian problem than import substitution. We have to invest in that, and we have to carry ourselves from a producing nation, from import-dependent nation to a producing nation. And the only thing we should be importing is industries, import industry, and that's how we can develop. And the last thing is that what we have been talking all day today, which is trade and business environment. I don't need to emphasize that, but the only thing I need to emphasize in that is there's something they call global standard. Our trade policy and business environment is yet to meet the global standard, and that's why we are all complaining. Then there are strategies the government can adopt to make it. I know the government is working hard on it. You can begin to look at what they are doing, pieces of it, and put it together. But whichever way you put it together, you have to have a known policy that anybody calling from Germany will know this is Nigerian policy. Anybody coming from Singapore, we know this is Nigerian policy. Anybody calling from Argentina or Brazil, we know this is a Nigerian policy. So there's no dichotomy. The standard is standard. If you call UAE now, United Arab Emirates, which Dr. Lekon mentioned, if you call them now and you want to do business there, their policy is their policy. I use their trade-free zone very well for my business in Dubai. And the trade policy in Dubai, the free trade, what Dubai is doing is nothing. They don't produce a dime, nothing, zero, neither. Dubai don't produce anything, but they have one of the biggest industrial trade hub in the world because they provided the policy and they have the infrastructure and they are making money out of it. In a year, the trade policy, go and check it out. You can fast check me on this. The trade industry and the hub created by Dubai that don't produce anything. Most of the products you see in their trade policy came from China, Vietnam, Thailand, South Korea, Japan, and the rest of you, or India. Most of them from India. They don't produce anything. They made $68 billion last year alone on that trade policy. Alone in one sector. So if we don't know how to do, let's copy it. Let's copy and copy. That is what import substitution do. We copy it and we run with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir, for that elaborate response to those questions. I think, like you said, part of the problem that we have in our country is lack of a clear-cut policy and lack of global standard in most of the things we do, which speaks to what some of my diaspora colleagues were talking about, some of their frustrations that they have. I'm just going to touch on that a little bit. I'll give a bit of an advice because I have been in their shoes too. Many years ago when I used to meet with people in authority and people in the business world for certain things, I used to go there with my diaspora cap because I live in a country where things work. I live in a place where you don't have to beg for anything. You take your documents, you go somewhere, you get what you want, end of story, you go out. But in Nigeria, it's a different kettle of fish. So it took me a while to understand that when I go to Nigeria, I have to take off my diaspora cap and put the Nigerian one for you to, because sometimes you have to behave like them to get what you want from them. That's not ideal, but then, hey, Nigeria is not an ideal country. That's the fact. So for some of us in diaspora, I'm just trying to put this out there for us that until we get the country to an ideal situation, for now, let's deal with the, what's the right word for it, unideal situation that we have on the ground by ensuring that whenever you go to Nigeria, forget about where you're coming from. Now, UK, whatever it is where you're coming from, go to Nigeria and begin to think like Nigerians too. That is the only way you can get things done, because without that, you get frustrated. Trust me, you get frustrated. So I just thought I should put that out there for us to chew on, so that when next you go to Nigeria, you want something done, please, I beg, behave like. Sometimes if you have to behave like an Agbero, you have to do that to get whatever you want to get done. Some high-profile offices that I've been to in Nigeria wanted to see some people. I was next in line, and somebody just came across and bamboozled them their way into it. So the question was, do I now begin to behave like an Agbero too? Of course, that would have been, the ideal thing for me to do. Again, it's a balancing act there. So I just thought I should throw that out for us to chew on. Let's Nigeria is, for me, it's a unique country, whether we like it, whether we believe it or not. It's a unique country, and I love it to bits. Trust me, that's where I want to retire. Whether some people like it or not, I'm going to retire in that country, because for me, that is the place to be when you get to a certain age in your life. Thank you so very much, sir, for that elaborate answer. So let me again recuse myself now and give the floor to another co-host, Honorable Tosin Olayinka, who will take on the next couple of questions before we close the court, because it's 6 o'clock now. We're supposed to leave at 6 o'clock, and we have 2 people online now, so I think we'll be able to deal with them. Honorable Tosin Olayinka, you have the floor now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Our chief host, Barrister J.K. Adebola, and also especially welcome our distinguished guest, Dr. Bello, and thank you for those actionable responses from your wealth of knowledge, based on the submission of our distinguished audience. And the questions still proceeds, and I have 2 people on my list here. Sorry if my video is frozen for some reason. I don't know why. Probably could be due to some technical glitches, because I could see that the video is not moving. All right. So I have Mr. Sunday Shoyinka here. We'll be giving him
Pastor Sunday Shoyinka, Pastor.
Oh, thank you, sir, for correcting that. Pastor Sunday Shoyinka, we'll be giving him a golden card. Pastor Sunday Shoyinka will be having 3 minutes. Please, we would like you to make it succinct so that other person can also have the opportunity. Thank you. You have the floor now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Tosin Olayinka, and I want to thank our brother there, Barrister Adebola Boyo, and our Oga Patapata, that is Barrister the son. Ogala, God bless you, sir. Thank you very much. And I want to thank especially my brother and my schoolmate, and that is Kazim Bello. We attended the same secondary school, for that brilliant presentation that have been made here today. Honestly, I really want to thank all the coordinators. You have done marvelously well on this platform. And that's why, out of my tight schedule, I have to make sure I am available. And I want to say something. There is hope for Nigeria. Yes. Before these kind of people that are talking here, there is hope. And definitely all of us shall live to witness the transformation that is coming to that nation in the name of Jesus. Now, to come to where my own contribution this evening is on the security of the nation. We've been talking about industrial development and economic development for the nation of Nigeria. But without adequate security, there is no way economic development can be practicalized. Thank God for what the present government is doing to make sure that they mitigate most of the problems that are coming from that area. But there is still one important area that they need to hammer on, and that is on the digital transformation for the defense operations in Nigeria. Currently, we have Army, we have Air Force, we have Navy, we have the civil defense, we have the police, all of them operating independently one way or the other. Though they could have a platform where they meet, but then there is a lack of that synchronization of dissemination of the military intelligence gathering, which is affecting decision-making, prompt and proactive decision-making in that industry. And I want to say it emphatically here that you know that we have our people within the United Kingdom defense industry who are the backbones for the defense here, backbone for the military intelligence in US and all over the world. I had the opportunity of meeting with some of them in the United Kingdom, and I asked them, what can you do to make sure that we synchronize what is happening in this nation, that whatever problem that happens in any part of UK, within a twinkle of an eye, the Prime Minister knows on his desk. And this is what we must do to make sure that our president, who is able and willing and also ready to do this thing, is able to get the right information at the appropriate time. So Nigeria at this particular point in time needs functional MilSatCom, military satellite communication, through digital transformation. And I want to say it on this platform, we already have our boys who are put up a proposal, a package, when I contacted them on this, which can help the nation. That is my presentation for today. I will see Honorable Adebola more on this at a later stage. But it is necessary for us to bring it to the notice, because I don't think that they are doing something in that area for now, or maybe I am not aware. So, but we have our people who can deliver in this area efficiently if they can be engaged. And I can link them up for this purpose because I've done my research on it and I found out that this can help our nation. Because if we provide security, you can be rest assured that people we have, and all other global investors will have interest in our economy and they will come there. Because I want to go to a nation where I can invest my money and then sleep without any problem. So God bless all Nigeria and God bless all of us. Thank you very much. Dr. Kas.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pastor Sunday Shoyinka, for that submission. And you could rest assured that it will be taken on board. At this point in time, I will be inviting Mr. Adeshite Emmanuel, while I would like Professor Ali Alao to also get ready. Mr. Adeshite Emmanuel, you have the floor now, sir. We are not sure if he has been speaking, but in case you cannot hear us, we cannot hear you either. We're not sure. And in case you can hear us, just to know that we cannot hear you from our end. And probably we give you a few seconds to see if the network issue will be sorted out. Are you there, sir?
He probably needs to unmute himself.
Okay.
You need to unmute yourself, sir, so that we can hear you.
Probably if you couldn't, probably we may have to call Professor Ali Alao. So shortly after, if he's sorted out, then he could also come on board. Professor Ali Alao, you have the floor, sir.
Looks like even he has jobs too, so let's go. Is Adeshite Emmanuel still on? He should be on now because it looks like he's been unmuted. You can move on if you want, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. I still have one person here. Probably we might give him the opportunity. Mr. George, you have the floor, sir.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you, sir.
Hello.
Could ask Professor Alao now.
Okay, Professor Alao, you have the floor, sir.
Oh, sorry. Good evening, all. Good afternoon. Depends on the time zone. Well, I would like to just have a simple input to the last commentator. The name, I couldn't catch it. Sorry. On the security side of things in Nigeria, he mentioned the satellite bid and so on and so forth, which is our field. I would want in a situation whereby we can have a sort of a synergy, maybe after this very program. I will drop, the host will drop, I would like to exchange the contact with the gentleman that just spoken now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't think the other two are available anymore. But in case you are hearing me, you may have the floor now. We'll give you a few seconds. But yeah, if you don't,
I'm available. I'm George.
Great.
Just
great,
a simple. Thank you so
Go
much.
on, please.
I've enjoyed myself so much, and just to say, indeed, we have a hope as a nation. I believe that strongly. And my simple question is, it's just a question just to find out how wide has this event been advertised to Nigerians in diaspora. Somebody invited me, and I believe that a lot of Nigerians would be willing to be part of this event to make their contributions. I've said to people, governance is over. Politics is over, it's not governance. And how can we be part and to help the government, the present government? How can we join hands and to see that we bring progress to our nation by joining the present administration to do that? And so my question is that how far and wide has this event been advertised? Please.
Okay, thank you. That's a very brilliant one. Well, from what I know, it would be nice to let you know that we are being streamed live on Ben TV and also on different other platforms where our audience, have been trying to share. I've been sharing the link to the event, and as well, we would like you to know that we have representatives, who are in connection to the villa, and also we have some distinguished guests in our midst here who are relating what we are doing here to Mr. President. So you can be rest assured that your views here or your submission will always be taken on board. In the interim, you may see here some other responses as regards to your question. So I wouldn't know if there's any other person who may like to ask their questions. I think we still have Adeshita Emmanuel. If you're there, you may have the floor now. But if you're not, I may like to yield the floor back to our chief host, Barrister J.K. Adebola. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much, my honorable co-host. Let me try Honorable Adeshita again one more time, if he's still on, before we move on to Dr. Kazim-Bello. That will be our last call for today. Then before Dr. Bello coming, I would like to answer the question that man asked earlier. I'm trying to look at Mr. Adeshita now. What's the first name again? I saw him.
Emmanuel Adeshita.
Yeah, it should be on now. It should be unmuted now. I think you are unmuted, Mr. Adeshita Emmanuel. You are unmuted, so you can speak now. Can you speak? Okay, I think he has issues with his mic, so apologies for that. You can join us next week again. We'll have you on. Going back to the question that the man asked, yes, we did advertise for on all social media, because we have all our social media handles. But the issue is sometimes some people prefer to watch on those social media handles, because we have most of our channels have millions of followers. So majority of them prefer to watch through that, because I believe he's asking the question for a reason. Of course, I personally have more than 200 groups that I advertise on, and all the teams in the Renewed Hope has hundreds of groups too that were advertised, of course. But like I said, because it is streamed live on Ben TV, some people prefer to watch on that. Some people prefer to watch on our Facebook. Some people prefer to watch on other social media handles. So that is the reason. But like I said, listen, it is veritable vehicle for Nigerians to come and jojo with our leaders. Like I said, for me, I don't believe you just come in to participate. It's good for you to participate, fine. But then coming with something like Abraham Lincoln said in America, God bless his soul, he said, don't ask what America can do for you, but you ask what you can do for America. So that is the state we're in now in Nigeria, where we and that has been exemplified by what happened last week. And I think I said that much in my Saturday message this morning, that last Saturday was the second time that we had similar thing. The first one was in May when we had the chief executive of the Federal Inland Revenue executive chairman, who gave his personal telephone number live to a participant who came up with some grandiose plan on how to help his department. Same thing happened last week too, and I think you had one of the guys who got the invitation, Dr. Emo, confessed to this afternoon that he was the second person that got the invitation last week. For some reason, he's not been able to take up that invitation. But the other person who got it is a female, Dr. Okoro. During the week, she went to Abuja, and she pitched her ideas with the minister, and instantly she got appointed into a committee so that she can add value to this government. That is what we are about: adding value to this government, adding value to the administration, because we see potential in what this government is doing. We see this government as the government of the future. I personally wrote so many articles before now, asserting to the fact that apart from late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Jagaban is the only man after later that I see that is ready for the position of leadership in Nigeria. All the other ones before them are people who just go there by happenstance. And perhaps maybe that was the reason they've not been able to make remarkable difference in the country. So, and that is why a few weeks ago I was talking about the need for caution, especially when I was advising the protesters that, look, this is not the time for you to protest. If you put on your binoculars and see what this government is doing, you will know that this is a government for the future. This is a government that is preparing for your future, because the place you are in today is a manifestation of the decision you made yesterday. So because the people who came before him they were shying away from taking the tough decisions because they knew that Nigerians would want to revolt against them. That was why they did not do what this man is doing now. But this man said, you know what? I don't care whether you revolt against me or not. I want to leave a legacy for myself. That is what I see in President TINUBU now. He wants to leave a legacy for himself, whether you protest or you don't protest, because I believe that the saying that the taste of the pudding is in the eating. By the time all the policies that they are churning out now begins to yield, because as far as I'm concerned, all those policies are in its gestation period now. By the time they begin to yield results, the people, I can guarantee you that people that protested will come back and say, we're sorry. Anyway, I don't want to go to, I'm getting political now. So pardon me for that. So let me just use the floor to our chief host for today, Dr. Kasim Bello, to deal with all the questions that I've been asked. Sometimes I get passionate about stuff that has to do with Nigeria. So please pardon me for that. Dr. Kasim Bello, you have the floor now, sir. Thank you so very much for being part of this. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Barrister Adebola, you are allowed to be passionate. We are all passionate, really. And believe me, I've seen passionate contribution in this. The energy is really high. The energy is really high. I don't know, maybe because of what had happened in the country for the past 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, we are seeing a lot of groups coming up, some criticizing the government, some saying they are this, they are that. I was wondering where they were before and what are they bringing to the table. But do we need a protest for you to come and be part of the nation building? We don't know that, like you just said. Abraham Lincoln said it. You just have to think of what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. Anyway, let's go back to the topic for the day. I want to thank Pastor Sunday Shoyinkaya. He's my erudite senior in school and then very knowledgeable pastor and very educative person. And we thank you very much for the great job that you are doing. And let me comment on the security again. I'm excited to be wearing the cap of the federal government here. Even though I'm an independent financial analyst, I have not been called to come and criticize government. Then I could do that, but there's no need for that. We need that this forum. The essence is for us to lay out policy and make suggestions that can help drive the process forward for the government. And yes, you are very correct. There's no, if you look at the tangent of history, I don't know of any country that is in crisis or serious security challenge or major war that you can talk about it getting out of economic wood or developing. You have to finish with the security issue of the war and then start thinking of how to reconstruct your economy. We all know what happened after the Second World War. There was what you call the Marshall Plan. If it has not been for Marshall Plan, maybe Europe and the rest of the West will be worse than Africa. So we all knew what happened in Angola. They came out of 11 years of war, and they are on the path of development. And we can continue to mention country for country. We are not in war in Nigeria, but we are in a situation where it's almost inimical to a war. I mean, we know the mayhem that the Boko Haram has inflicted on the country for over 15 years now. And also, we are just starting to come out of Boko Haram, and then we are dealing with the bandits. So, and then we are dealing with kidnapping. Of course, do you want to start going to one by one the number of expatriates that has been kidnapped out of Nigeria? I was speaking to a group of Chinese people a while ago. Oh, I didn't even know they have business in Nigeria before then, and they told me, "Oh, we don't want to come to Nigeria. Don't worry, don't set up appointment with any minister." I told them Abuja is safe. He said, "No, nowhere in Nigeria." I said, "Who told you that?" He said they know that because one of their kids were kidnapped in Nasarawa State. So Nasarawa State in the bush is different from Abuja. But the mentality there is that since it's within the Nigeria, they believe they can come into the Aso Rock and kidnap a person. So, I mean, we have to change those narratives. And the only way to do that is to tackle the security challenge and bring it to near zero. If it is possible, we can bring it to near zero, which is challenging, but it has to be tackled. But in order to reassure our audience and also speak directly to the question raised by my Honorable Pastor Sunday Shoyinka, there are tons and many Nigerians equally that are professional in security. And one of the areas where Nigerians has excelled mostly in abroad is actually in security, medical, and IT. Those three areas Nigerians have excelled all over the world: security, medical, and IT. Name them. There are so many Nigerians all over the place. And they can bring their wealth of experience to play. Like you rightly mentioned, that you have a group that have a proposal out there that you think government would want to listen to. But in order to address what we are saying, during the President Obama administration, there was this African government initiative, White House initiative, where they bring in African leaders into the United States in White House, and they engage them in terms of what can be done, especially in the area of trade and securities. Those are the two main focus things in that project. I've been opportunity to attend some of those initiatives, and I was at the last initiative that was done in June, where Africa, I think the vice president represented Nigeria because the president couldn't come, but a couple of African countries leaders were there, and it was at that program that President Biden mandated that effort should be done to intensify on that project. And as I'm speaking to you now, 14 countries have been selected as the pilot project, 14. And one of those countries that has been selected has been Nigeria. And on the subset of the project that is being done, there is 4 categories. The category with which Nigeria belongs to is Kenya, I think it's Kenya, Namibia, and Nigeria triangle. So what that means is that that initiative is going to send in experts based on Nigeria, the United States security apparatus and then go to those countries and assist with the security challenge there, and not only give them consultancy, they are also going to provide cash to solve any noticeable challenges that they are having. That initiative has started job in Kenya. It's headed by Kenny Roberts in Kenya. As I was speaking to you, I was in touch with Ken last week in Kenya. He's based in Kenya with his team right now. They are working with the security challenge in Kenya because there's a lot of security challenges we have in Nigeria, also in Kenya, because of the influx of bandits from Congo and the rest of them coming into Kenya, especially to attack the tourist industry in Kenya. So that team is working in Kenya, and I'm aware they have already started implementing the project, spending a lot of money in Kenya. And Ken Robert told me personally that they are going to be going to Nigeria to engage the presidency because they have a mandate to work directly with the presidency. And the reason why I brought out this information is that I will share this information with this platform when Robert is about to go to Nigeria. They are going to start the project in Nigeria, and they are going to look at this entire Nigerian security apparatus. And there is a funding that is coming to it, and the United States is not going to implement it. Ken doesn't have the mandate to implement the project. They have the mandate to present the American solution and not to fund it. So the proposal that every one of us has regarding security will be should be handed over to the appropriate authority, and Ken team will articulate those policies and also assist to fund that project by funding it on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria. Again, we cannot talk about the details of those projects here, but some of the people in government that's aware of it know about what I'm talking about. So that initiative will soon start in Nigeria. And trust me, by the time they come up on board, they should be able to take on individual proposal like Pastor Soyinka has said and run with it if they found that to be in line with their own policy or initiative. To Professor Alao, well, you only make a brief statement and you say you are going to get back to the organizers with your proposal. Yes, again, we encourage you to do that. Conscious of the time, you did the right thing. But one thing I needed to say here is that the synergy within the global environment around the world for Nigeria is that, listen, there's something they call in economics, they call dysfunctional paradigm shift. Dysfunctional paradigm shift in economics. For those of us in economics, you understand that. Now, that little thing I just said is a monster. It's a big monster. There is absolutely no country that is what it is today that didn't go through that. No country. Every other country went through that. The most probable example of how to fix a paradigm shift dislocation or dysfunctionality is China. It's China. In the 70s, nobody wants to touch China. China has about 650 million people in poverty, no employment. You don't want to buy even a pen from China because you use it one day, the second day it's not working again. Their products are so inferior, nothing is working out of China. And until they realize that there is a paradigm dysfunctionality in the economy, and they will work together, bonded themselves together, sacrifice to fix that problem. And that started around the 80s. And by the time they fixed it up to early 90s and 20s, China is the largest economy. They were growing at 13% at some point. That is because they identified the problem. It's one thing to identify that problem, it's another thing to solve it. Now, to answer Professor Alao, if there's any government, just like Mr. Adebola said, since maybe 1980s to now in Nigeria, this administration got it right. Somebody in this administration is thinking very well. That dysfunctionality exists in Nigeria right now. And the only way to fix it is that we have to understand it. If you don't understand that problem itself, we cannot fix it. And let me just give you an example. this dysfunctionality is arising because we are crying, oh, prices of food is going up. Oh, prices of bread is going up. Pricing of butter is going up. It is because of that paradigm shift dysfunctionality. But how do you correct it? That is not a topic for today. It's a very expansive topic. But the government is doing the right thing to fix that problem. Are they doing enough? No, they're not doing enough. I can tell you for free that the government is not doing enough. We need to visit that topic and do it. So the place to be in Nigeria, anywhere in Africa now, is Nigeria. Because by the time the country come out of that dysfunctionality, the business for Nigeria will boom. And you have to be biting your finger and blaming yourself, why were you not there at that time? If the government can sustain, let people protest. Please, I have absolutely no problem with protesting. It is fundamental right of people as provided for by the Constitution. They can do that. But again, like I said in my opening remark, are we doing enough to communicate with the people? Maybe not. And if we do enough to communicate with them and let them understand that sacrifice must be between the rule and the ruler. The government and the people must figure out to sacrifice. Yes, we will get there. But it took China to get out of that system. It took them 2 decades, 20 years to get out of it. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? A tea party in Nigeria? No, it's not a tea party. I figured out that if we do the right thing and stay on course, it might take us another 10, 15 years to get out of it, or lower than that. But if the government sustain the system and be honest, do the right thing, we can come out of it in less than 10 years. Some countries have come out of it in less than 10 years. Brazil came out of it in 7 years. So we can name countries that, but there's any country on this planet, everybody has gone through that dysfunctionality, and it's inevitable for Nigeria. And lastly, Honorable George was asking the administrator what they are doing about this platform. But again, I hope I will have that 2 minutes I asked for in order to explain what I discussed with Honorable, the presentation I made in Abuja in March with Honorable Omonle at the headquarters of APC. But again, we shouldn't lose hope about Nigeria. Forget about renew hope or hope. These are just slogans. Those are slogans politicians will design. I'm not a politician, but politicians will design all kind of slogans. But if they say they have a renew hope, we should ourselves have that hope within our hearts. Forget about what they are talking about. And the only way we can do that is to challenge the government. For instance, I have been telling government in the last 6 months that you need to cut fiscal recklessness in spending. I have not seen that happening. We need to cut fiscal. That is the last thing the global headquarters are looking for. They are looking for that. They have seen that we do the foreign exchange changes, we do the forex changing, we are deregulating the system, the energy, the power system, we are deregulating it to attract more investment into the energy industry. Come on, in America, I'm paying like $3 per kilowatt for electricity. In Nigeria, you are paying 70 cents. How can you get electricity in Nigeria? Will I bring electricity to Nigeria when I can have $3 per kilowatt and you want me to come to Nigeria and pay 50 cents per kilowatt? It's not going to happen. So those are the kind of paradigm shift we are talking about. It's a dislocation. It's a functional dislocation. And until Nigeria fixes that problem, we are not going to get anywhere. But I'm glad that the present government is doing it. Whether they understand it, how much they understand about it, I don't know. But I'm glad that something is being done in that direction. And this is really the hope that if we do the right thing and fix that problem, forget about all the policies. Policy will not solve any problem. What will solve the problem is correct that dysfunctionality in the economy. And you will see everything come in place. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so very much. I love the way you ended the program today, because this is where we're going to be drawing the curtain tonight. And boy, did we have a swell time today? Because I love the way you broke down the whole. Because you see, I like it when I think Honorable Ogala said something earlier on that you came up with some jargons, and he's more used to the legal jargon, but you came up with jargon in your own field. But then this last one now is for me, simplicity par excellence. That is, every person can understand exactly what we've been talking about, especially with the way you answer the last segment of the questions. So for me, that is the best way for us because you're talking about this about a paradigm shift, which for me is what we've spoken about it in so many languages. That there are things that needed to be done in so many years that nobody's been doing, but somebody came now and said, you know what, we have to do it now, or we're doomed, and it's doing it. So that is what you talk. That is what the paradigm shift is all about. So I hope our people will grasp the simplicity that you've just brought to the issue on ground now, so that those Nigerians who are perhaps maybe because they were brainwashed by certain elements who does not mean well for the country, and to going into the street, because for me that protest was needless. Yes, I said it because that was some national broadcast that I did where I said every Nigerian has a fundamental human right to protest. It is enshrined in the Constitution, but then it is enshrined in the Constitution too that someone like me who does not want to protest, my right shouldn't be impinged by those who want to protest. So it's a balancing act, right? That has to be had, and that was when I was cautioning at the time that how do you then go to protest, knowing surely well that, judging by history, no protest in Nigeria or anywhere in the world has ever gone peacefully. So this is where all of the issues came from. So you now bringing it down to earth now by breaking it down into pieces gladdens my heart, and I hope every Nigerian listening, both in Nigeria and in diaspora, will take a leaf from this to say, listen, things may look hard now, may look difficult now, but it is difficult because somebody is taking the bull by the horns and saying we are not going to do things like they used to be before, because Nigerians have been living on false economy for so many years. That's a fact. I was speaking in one forum one day, and I made an analogy of Nigeria as a family of five, where the head of the family was, this kind of guy who has a good job, he has money and everything. He was taking the family on holidays 2 or 3 times a year and everything, and the children were happy. All of a sudden, the man died, and the mother married another man, and the man came and said, no, I'm not, those profligacy that you are used to, I'm not interested in it. What I'm interested in is your future. So the kind of money your father was spending on you to go on holiday, I want to put it in a bond. No more holidays. Yeah? If you want to go to holiday, do your holiday in Nigeria. We have so many Yankari Reserve is there in Nigeria, go there for your holiday and whatever. And the children did not like it. And they are now seeing this stepfather now as the devil. The stepfather who was preparing for their future is now the devil. But the one who was spending money anyhow, send them on holiday without preparing for their future, they see that man who is now late as the darling. So I use that analogy, and some people got the analogy and some people didn't. But I know where I was coming from, because I was just trying to paint a pictorial image of what the reality is in the country now. We are in a dire situation now that this country needs to do something now. And that now, I mean like yesterday. So thank God that we have somebody now, and that was why I said earlier on, that as far as I'm in my 60s now, and I think I'm right to know how far this country have come since its independence, to understand that I only recognize 2 people that are the wherewithal to rule this country. The first one never got the chance. No, about 3 of them. The first one was the late state of Obafemi Awolowo. He never got the chance. The second one, whom I only got to know that he has some semblance of whatever he wanted to do, was Chief Abiola. He never got the chance too. How I know now is because of certain pronouncements he made about NNPC. Gave me the insight as to the fact that he probably knew what he wanted to do there. And those who were at the helm of affairs at the time knew that he knew what he wanted to do. And because they are agent of destruction in the country. They never wanted him to be there. But the person the third person whom I know for a fact, going by his antecedents as the governor of Lagos State and what he has done so far in the last 12 months, is the president. As far as I'm concerned, he is the man whom I know he does not only know the problem of Nigeria, he knows how to solve it. And not only that, again, he has the balls, he has the political will to do what others dare not do. So that is why certain people now are trying to ensure that they maybe try to unseat him or whatever. But I know that if the man is a man of destiny, then no weapon fashioned against him shall prosper. That I know from my religious belief. So that is why I'm supporting this administration. And I believe passionately that for as long as all progressive-minded Nigerians continue to support this government, it is just a matter of time. Like Dr. Aziz said, what they are doing now is at the gestation period. Give it time, a year or two, we'll begin to see the manifestation of what they are doing now. And that was why I said earlier on in my statement that majority of those who protested will probably come out to apologize. That is, if they still have some element, some semblance of shame in their body, because things have to be done. There's a paradigm shift in this country that we need to have for things to work well. And this man has said he would rather be unpopular. He would rather do the right thing and be unpopular than do the wrong thing and be popular. So for me, I would rather go with a man who is ready to do the things that will make him unpopular, so long as he knows that that is the right thing for the country to do. So that is why we are supporting him, and that is why this platform is set up to ensure that, especially when we saw that there's a gap, that's a niche to be filled with, which has to do with information dissemination. And I believe that everything we've said here today has blessed so many people, and it's blessed because every week that I come here, I learn a lot. And I believe everybody who joined in and those who are watching us on social media have learned a lot, because every time new things come up. The one thing I would like to say lastly, that for all, because everybody that spoke here today spoke from the heart, and many of them has ideas that I think will be beneficial to the country. I don't want us to leave it at the talking stage. Please put something on paper, because whatever it is written. And we've just been advised now by the Grand Patron that we should compile our compendium, which, like I said to him, great minds think alike. Myself and Prince Ademole has been talking about this for weeks now, and we've been compiling it. Compile everything that you've spoken about on this program, not just today, the previous ones. Let us have it. You have our email address. Put your name there, your email address, your telephone number. We'll put it there verbatim in a compendium to say these ideas and these ideas came from Mr. A, Mr. B, and these are his details. So if there's any need for the powers that be to consult you on what you brought in, they will. I can guarantee you that. And you've had that from Boyo, and you had it from Tosin, that we're like, there's this advert in the UK here where it says that what you see, it says what it does what it says on the tin. Whatever we say is what we do. Put all ideas that you've got to make Nigeria great. Put it on paper, please. Don't just leave it like that. Put it on paper. We will deliver it, and we'll make sure that the country is better. I think I can see Dr. Kasim Bello's hands up. He wants to have the floor again. You have the floor now, sir. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, I did mention that I have a last thing that I wanted to mention. Precisely on the 18th of March last year, I did a presentation with top. In fact, the people that were in that meeting were set of the very first set of essays, senior assistant, the senior special advisor to the president, that were appointed. I can't remember their names. Honorable Omole will remember them. And I was in the APC headquarters, campaign headquarters in Abuja to make that presentation. Again, I alluded to that earlier on. It wasn't only my doing, but it's a team of financial analysts, global financial analysts, gathered in New York that put that together. And I said the Trade and Investment Department at the Nigerian Consulate also supervised it. But all of them were changed, so they probably didn't have the means to take it to the government. But the government need to see that. They may not need to see that, but there are some recommendations in that document that I will also share again with your Barrister Adebola and Mr. Omoli, again, to see what is going on with that because it's still very relevant. And what is in that document? In 1980, the Nigerian Institute of Social and Economic Research, which we all know as NISA, it was headed then by Professor Mabu Buje. He was the Director General of that institute at that time. And I was in school, but we are the guinea pig that they used to do that. It was a World Bank sponsored project. World Bank sponsored that project with NISA. And they came up with what they call an economic input and output analysis. Now, when you talk of economic development, there are so many systems you can use to do a development plan for a country. And the one that was chosen at that time by that team in NISA was the input and output table, because in Nigeria is an input and output thing. As much as Nigeria needed imports, you also realize that Nigeria needed a lot of export. Nigeria is an export hub. At the same time, we needed to import technology. This is why the relevance of input and output table standard for economic development came into play. And it was a very good thing. And the interesting thing about that, we're talking of in 1980, they came up with an analysis with a comprehensive economic plan for Nigeria, with a rolling plan that will be a 3-year rolling plan. As a 3-year rolling plan for 1980 to 2020. And that, the outcome of that projection, if you go to NISA, they don't have computer then, I don't know if they still have access to that, says that Nigeria will be $1.2 trillion economy by 2020. Now, by 2020, unfortunately, we have 350 billion, which is a third of what they was projected. Can you ask me why? The reason is not far-fetched. The reason is that we abandoned that document immediately. World Bank put it on the table. We abandoned it. We didn't follow it. Then we went into a lot of mismanagement, economics mismanagement, misplaced priority, and things like that. We didn't follow that policy. We didn't follow that document. So what we did in New York was to take that document and look at it and say, look, this input and output table is still relevant for Nigeria. As we speak today, we are still a net importer, and we are supposed to be a huge exporter of resources and material, what have you. So we put together a kind of a bridge input into government to see how government can navigate the way to go back to that vision to make Nigeria a $1 trillion economy. And I'm glad when the president came on board, it was as if he was reading our lips. One of the first things he said in his economic blueprint is that I need to get this economy to $1 trillion economy. In fact, immediately that happened, I tested the Honorable Amole. I tested him. I said, "Oh, look at what we presented at the APC headquarters, and look at what the president is saying. We needed to. There must be a target. There must be a hope. There must be a work. There must be a framework. There must be something to push us to somewhere. So designing a policy that will target a $1 trillion economy is a good one. But the question is, how do we get there? What are we supposed to do to get there? That is what is composed in that revised input-output table. And instead of what they did in 1980, saying that Nigeria will reach $1 trillion in 2020, which is about 40 years period of time, we actually came up with a period of 12 years period. The projection we have is that within the period of 12 years, Nigeria should be talking about a $1 trillion economy. It is no magic. We have that resources and we can do it. So if the government can understand what is included, what we did in that issue was to cover all the sector economy. We identified 37 sector and 156 subsector in the economy. we tap on every little sector to identify what government can do in that sector, what it cannot do in that sector in order to reach a trillion. It's not a joke to navigate from what we have now to reach a trillion economy, but it's a journey we can reach. We believe we can reach it if the government can do the right thing. Thank you for having me again. I want to thank you for going. Actually, I'm supposed to be part of this forum. I don't know how I wasn't part of it. And now that I'm back here, I'll be joining every weekend to be part of it. I thank Mr. Adebola for doing a good job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much. I think it's just destiny that calls, sir. God works in mysterious ways. And for me, the document you're talking about now looks like document that we would need for our compendium that we are compiling. Probably come on the first few pages. So if you don't mind, sir, if you can just avail us of that document, we will, and with all your details on it, we will ensure that it becomes part of the compendium that we will be submitted to the government. So thank you so very much for, especially even at the last minute, you still chose to be part of this program. And boy, did you avail yourself to Nigerians across the globe. I think I'm not the only one who will agree with that. I'm sure many Nigerians that listen to you will definitely agree with me that yes, you did justice to all the questions that was asked, justice and more. Thank you so very much, sir, for that. And I just look forward to seeing more and more of you at our next conferences. Thank you so very much for being part of it, sir. So, like I said earlier on, this is where we will be drawing the curtain. We're meant to close at 6, but it's 6:51 now. So it's almost 3 hours solid. We've been on this program. So thank goodness to all our participants who never got tired of supporting us. Thank you so very much. There's a few takeaways from this conference today. From everything we've heard from Dr. Kazim Bello, one of which is the fact that there's a 30 billion investment being attracted to Nigeria in the last 12 months of this administration being in power. $3.5 billion into the cotton value chain as well. That is from the video that we listened to from the Minister of Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment, and another one is the plan for a made in Nigeria automobile by the end of 2024. All of these three that I've just mentioned are again the City and Guilds certification that was brought back for artisans to expand their job opportunities, which would be open to them both here and globally. All of those four excerpts from the video that we watched earlier from the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. And from Dr. Kazim Bello, we got to understand that there's a global, there's a 3.4 million naira to be had from global energy, which is what the country now is a potential for this country now to be had. And so many other takeaways too numerous to mention. But then, be that as it may, like I said, this is where we'll be drawing the curtain today because it's almost 3 hours now for a 2-hour program. Thank you so very much to everybody for being part of this. We always cherish your presence and your support. I acknowledge the efforts of stakeholders who made the town hall, the Renewed Hope Town Hall virtual conference possible through their wide network of influence and hard work behind the scene. Even if I don't mention their names, I think Dr. Kazim Bello has mentioned one or two names already, which has blown their cover, so to speak. But nobody from my mouth will here say Yabade Laje. So we've had it. We are immensely grateful for all your support every week. And huge thanks goes also to Ben TV, the first Nigerian African TV digital channel in Europe, led by its CEO, Alastair Sheridan, for your continuous support for Nigerians in diaspora, and especially for your support for good governance in Nigeria. Thank you so very much, sir. We appreciate your support. Thanks also go to other media partners like the Parrot, Reporters Media Limited, the Reflector newspaper, who are equally supporting and propagating the image of the Renewed Hope Global Virtual Town Hall Conference. You are all appreciated. I also wish to acknowledge other leaders and stakeholders present at this conference, starting from Professor Adeshegun Labinjo from the USA, Honorable Nick Akpata from Canada, Honorable Babalide from South Africa, Engineer Ajimi Jere from Russia, Honorable Adeyemo from Benin Republic, Haji Lawal Usman from Togo, Dr. Ozigi from Russia, Honorable Oladotu Omole from Lesotho, Dr. Abiola Akintunde from Lesotho as well, Honorable Awu Philippe, Honorable Rutalayo, Professor Adewale from Scotland, and many other too numerous to mention. Your supporters and assistance is very much appreciated. Thank you so very much for not being tired. Because some people ask me, how do you do it every week? My simple answer is, I don't know. I just know that God is on our side. Anytime we approach the people in our government, they always oblige us, which for me tells us that the people in government has the best interest of Nigerians at heart. That is why they take, because if you deal with them, you understand how busy they are. You've seen in some of the conferences that we've had. I think the first one we had was with Aduri Ngilani. Right in the middle of the conference, the president called and he had to obey. But he promised us that he was going to come the following day, and he came and gave us his time the following day. Same happened a couple of times too. When we have a VVIP, and just at last minute, the president will call. The Inspector General of Police was meant to be with us 3 weeks ago, but last minute he was called in, and he had to send his PPRO to be with us. So these are some of the interests that play out, because when the president calls, how dare you? The universe will say, Obakwe, Olu Ndafa, Atiwa Atifatalonie. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I'll try. He said the king calls you the Ifa Oreku, and you say you as an Ifa man, you are doing your Oreku. You and the Oreku, who get you now? Nobody the Oba. If Oba say make you and the Oreku perish, you go perish. So that is the situation the president is. So sometimes when they call some of these officials, they have no choice. They have to respond. But thank God, every time we call them and such things happen, they always bring somebody else to represent them. So that is why my utmost respect. I have to doff my hat to Dr. Kazim Bello. Even though it was last minute, you still find the time out of your own busy schedule too to be here. And not only were you here, you dealt with every question elaborately, without question, without no airs, no graces. Thank you so very much, sir. These are the kind of leadership I'm praying that I'll be like you when I grow up, sir. That's my prayer. So thank you so very much for that. Where I also wish to acknowledge my co-hosts who supported me all throughout this program. You are the guys that make this to work. So thank you so very much. Like I said, this is where we're drawing the curtain. In the next couple of days, we will be announcing the next VVIP for our conference for next week. Maybe tomorrow, Sunday or Monday, we will be coming out to you to let you know who's going to be our next VVIP. So please keep next weekend free in your diary, as we'll be coming your way again. Because like I said, all we are about is to add value to this administration by ensuring that we bring people from the government to come and have a direct engagement with our Nigerians, so that they will be able to quell all the inanities, all the nonsensical information that our people get from social media that seems to corrupt their minds about this government. That is what we are trying to eliminate. And by God, we will continue to do that for as long as you guys, the participants, keep supporting us. And like I said, don't just come to support us. Come with ideas that will better the future of this country. And as you have seen in the past couple of weeks, people who have done that, they have been lucky enough to get special invitation from VVIP, and one of them has been appointed to a committee this week. Who knows? You might be next week. But like I said, to those people who brought in some good ideas today, please put pen on paper. I don't want, because we don't want this to be just a talk show, a talk shop show. A talk shop show. We want this to be a place. I think it's Honorable Kayode Ajulo, the Attorney General for those states, who came on a couple of weeks ago, who advised us publicly here that he wants to see this program become the Nigerian, what's it called again? This one in the UK here. It's gone off my head now. The Nigerian, where Jagaban came in December to address the world. It's gone off my head.
Chatham House.
Yeah,
Chatham House.
The Nigerian Chatham House. That he wants this to be the Nigerian Chatham House. And trust me, that is my dream. And I believe that we can make it happen with your support. If you continue to support us, that will happen, because this is where policy ideas should be coming out, that will be given out to the government to better the future of our country. So thank you so very much, everybody, for being part of it. Like I said, we are doing the curtains now. Thank you ever so much, especially to Dr. Kazim Bello. Let me call on, because the mother of the house, unfortunately, is not here tonight, but we have somebody else who will stand in for her to give us the closing remarks. So I will be calling on Dr. Damagum to give us the closing remarks. Dr. Damagum, you have the floor now. Can you please unmute Dr. Damagum to give us the closing remarks? Thank you so very much, sir.